castle. We're directed by a group of a group of dragon claw cultists to the ice caverns to help with the cargo. And once down there, you guys discovered that there was in fact a white dragon down there that scared the actual shit out of Tony. And yeah, he did. And after a couple attempts and much discussion, you guys eventually decided to head back up onto the lower courtyard to seek out Resmir, who you found on your first try. The first door you opened, you guys found her. So you guys fought her. Tony got himself a black dragon mask. And so then you guys went back down to Dragon to deliver Resmir's body, which he cooked in ice, and it shattered as it hit the floor of his cavern. And then you guys got lost for a little while and decided to take a long rest, and that's where we ended last week.
All right, so as we all wake up, sit there, and I begin speaking with the party. It's like, so, has anybody got second thoughts of go find this giant, steer in the ship here, and kill the giant, send the entire ship crashing into the earth?
What would we be having second thoughts about there?
Well, I assume we're crashing with the ship? Yes.
I'm not really worried about us. We'll be fine.
Why don't we just kill the giant and then fly the ship?
Ooh, we could have a flying death ship.
We could have a flying death ship.
Alright, we need to kill everybody on board. This is a great asset.
No.
Yep.
If we do go that route, we probably need to make sure that Hagrid can steer this ship, considering he's probably the one closest proportion to a giant.
We can just all stand on each other's shoulders.
No one's standing on my shoulders.
I'll take the left arm. Laven takes the right leg.
Yeah,
you guys turning into the Megazord?
Yeah, no, we're just gonna turn him into a giant puppet, the giant corpse.
Ah, doing the Weekends at Bernie 2, okay.
So you're turning the giant into a Megazord. I got it.
Oh no, the DM found out my secret plan.
Alright, so where do you guys want to go?
Well, let's continue looking for stairs up then.
Yes, that.
I will remind you that the spiral staircase that you guys went up to, or went near to go to the ice caverns, actually do go up as well.
Oh, okay.
Do we want to go there, or do we want to see what else is out down here?
I suppose we should find out what we could potentially fall into during a retreat.
Hmm?
What's this way?
Oh, hey, a desk.
Yeah, you enjoy that.
Yeah, nothing's on this desk, it looks like.
What's in this door?
Alright. You want to look in that door, Laven?
You.
Alrighty. How do you open the door?
With my left hand.
Because your right hand is where?
Don't worry where my right hand is.
Don't worry where...
Yeah, I just crack it open. Like,
Okay.
I feel like we eliminated the major threat here, so I'm not being that careful.
Oh, okay. Whoops. I don't think that's what I wanted to do. Sorry. I had a new idea this week for opening doors and whatnot.
Was it we have to knock 3 times so they won't open?
Yes, that's exactly what it was. No. I'm trying to do partial door openings. So, Laven, as you open the door, you can see partially into the room. I'm guessing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
And way off into the distance.
Oh, nice. Yeah, there's a sort of a window out there. Would you like to proceed into the room?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So this room, it's comfortably furnished for inhabitants of human size. The wall to the at the outside of the room where the windows are is made of ice, and it's partially like you can kind of see through it, and there's like a sort of a platform outside.
Interesting. What's on the desk?
Go ahead and make an investigation check.
What about the bookcase?
You as well.
18.
18. So you look through the desk, you look in through the drawers and all that stuff, and for really the only thing of even mild interest that you find is a sort of like a it's like a novelty check-in book kind of thing. Like people write that they had their stay there and stuff like that, but it's all filled with names that are not even real.
So this is a crazy person's room.
Tyrannus, what did you roll?
I rolled a 23, 17 plus 6.
23. So it's just kind of an assortment of books. They aren't like anything, scholarly or anything like that. It's, like sort of like casual light reading things.
I gotcha. I start disorganizing the books.
Oh, okay.
Just like taking one out, grabbing another, and then switching places.
Are you
spend
looking
roughly
for?
about 90 seconds doing that.
Okay. As you do that, there are no secret entrances that open up.
Oh, okay. I continue doing it anyway.
Are these back slots windows or tunnels or doors or?
There are spots in the ice wall that are a little bit thinner to allow some more light in, but they're ice as well.
Okay.
The whole back wall is ice. Do you touch the back wall at all, Crispin?
I'll touch. Yeah, we're during one of the thin spots.
Will you lick it?
Not quite yet.
So as you touch the wall, actually the whole back wall disappears, and you hear the wind kind of kick up as really now the whole room is exposed to the elements, and there's sort of a, like I said before, it's like a kind of a landing platform outside.
Way to break the castle.
I think it was when he was pulling those books. I had nothing to do with this.
Can you turn the wall back on?
Turn the wall. It's cold.
I'll step out onto the ledge.
That's off the ledge.
This isn't a platform.
To avoid a 1,000-foot fall.
Crispin's had enough of this life.
So out there, Crispin, you see clouds, and the wind is whipping in your face, and it's cold because you guys are so high up in the air, and you can barely keep your eyes open. But you don't really see much.
Do I see anything if I look up? Like how high is the next level?
That's a really, really good question. Hang on. You don't see anything directly above you. These sort of landing platforms are in the outermost part of the lower courtyard, and things in the upper courtyard don't overhang this part.
Okay. Do I see any ledges running along the side of the wall that I could walk on to get to another room, perhaps?
You do not.
Okay, then I will come back in, where it's nice and toasty.
All right. As you come back inside, about a minute has passed, and the wall sort of reforms behind you.
Anybody else curious how that just happened?
No, but I noticed the
explained it.
craftsmanship of
I
the new
moved it,
wall was
but-
shoddy.
It's this library here that controls the wall. And at this point, I just, instead of like rearranging books, I just take one, I throw it out, and then throw the book so that it like will hit the wall.
As you do that, the impact of the book hitting the wall opens the wall up again.
See, I told you.
Does anyone else feel a breeze in their nether region?
Not specifically.
I feel a breeze everywhere.
We do have a bunch of gnomes breathing, yeah.
Is your nether region exposed to the wind right now?
When did we get another gnome?
Hi.
Yeah, that makes one. So where's this bunch at?
How tall
Oh,
are
that's
you?
right, Tony never learned numbers.
All right, where to next, gentlemen?
I will open up this door right here.
Okay. That door leads back out to the courtyard.
I'm assuming I can see through this like window right here.
Yes, you can. So that's actually kind of a doorway, from what I can understand from what the book says. The map obviously does not reflect that. It's a 20-foot tall, 8-foot wide archway that connecting that chamber to the lower courtyard. In the middle of the frost glazed room stands a 9-foot tall table of carved stone, surrounded by 3 giant-sized chairs, also carved from stone. A fat iron cauldron etched with runes rests upon the table, and on the floor in the far corner sits a large iron chest. A male stone giant gazes into the cauldron, while a female stone giant sits nearby. Go ahead and make a perception check.
This is not going to go well. What is my perception?
Just Tyrannus?
Anyone who's looking inside.
7.
So Laven, you too, I guess.
Uh, 15.
15, okay. Laven, you hear some snippets of conversation as you guys observe into the room and watch these stone giants. You catch snippets about a name, Blagothkus. Yeah, Blagothkus. You get the idea that he may be the giant in charge here. You hear some worried tones, wondering how Blagothkus's actions might lead to devastating consequences, and how they're worried about it, but they seem supportive nonetheless. And you hear sort of snippets of how Blagothkus's actions are sort of intended to stir the giants into action against the dragons.
So, can I make what kind of check would I need to make to see if it's weird that giants and dragons are working in the same castle? Like, trying to see if that would be out of place at all?
Why don't you go ahead and make a history check.
That fell off the board.
With advantage.
With advantage? Okay. That's better. That was a 2 and a 17. So plus my history is 21.
Okay. Yes, giants and dragons are historically enemies, and them working together, let alone occupying the same space, is incredibly strange.
Guys, I didn't want to believe it until I saw it, but something here is really weird.
Like that wall that just reformed itself?
Okay, first off, all of this is really weird, but this is more weird in particular.
We're in a castle floating in the sky.
Okay,
The
yes,
dragon in the
absolutely, but this is
basement.
more weird in particular. Like, when is one time in history you've ever recognized giants and dragons getting
I don't
along?
know. I haven't really been in history that long.
Okay, maybe we should be prepared for anything right now, because I just saw the last thing I'd ever expect.
Let's find Rod Blagojevich, and maybe he'll.
Blagofkis.
Yeah, maybe we should find out where this bag of chips is.
Bag of chips. All right, so we've got Blagojevich and Bag of Chips. You guys always come up with such fun names for the characters.
Anyone else wonder how they got giants stuck in there?
They probably the ice wall thing happened.
I built the room around it. Them.
Yeah, they just kept on throwing books at the giants.
Something like that.
Throw books at giant.
Yeah.
So I need to go get books. Got it.
I don't want to correct them.
All right.
Do we want to go upstairs then?
I want to know what's over here. Door.
All right, hang on. Let me pull these out of that layer. Which side of the door would you like to open first, Tony?
Like we are splitting.
The left side.
Left side? Okay. So,
Good job.
in this room, let's see, okay. The place stinks of some kind of droppings and rotted flesh. You see that cracked bones cover the floor. As the door opens and the light pours in, you see two wyverns stride into sight, with their fangs bared and their tails thrashing.
Interesting. You guys have fun. I'm gonna go back out here. Dude, there's small dragons in there.
How small?
Small.
Like me small, or
Like you small?
I don't know.
Tony, go ahead and make a nature check.
Whee! How does a -1, or not a -1, 4.
A 4? Okay, yeah, you don't know what they are.
They're small dragons.
Anyone who wants to try to make a nature check to see if they can understand what the hell Tony's talking about, go ahead.
I do not.
Right. 13.
13. You're not sure what he's talking about either. Unfortunately, his description was
Super.
I'm pretty satisfied with the small dragon answer.
I mean, were they
Just
like
give me the natural one. What's that?
the natural one. What's that? A natural one is essentially what Tony told you.
Is it once he starts talking, I hear like the Charlie Brown school teacher voice?
Kind of, yeah.
Upstairs?
Yeah. That smells enough to dissuade me from that.
Oh, we still have a room down here, it looks like.
where?
Some members of the party do.
Oh.
Laven could probably tell you what's in there.
Yeah, that was like a kitchen. It was full of some kind of people that I didn't want to deal with. There's bacon though.
Mm.
Wait, guys. We need to stop everything. Bacon?
All right, I'm gonna
This is the new prime objective, guys.
plop everyone in the stairwell there, and we're gonna move up to the upper courtyard.
Oh no, the dragon found us.
All right. Is there anything special to tell you about the upper courtyard? Maybe. Let's see. Basically, tall, slender towers and walls of ice enclose a windswept courtyard here.
What side of the screen are we on? Oh, found us.
You got it?
The side of light.
What's going on to the north?
What can you see up that way?
A whole bunch of giant, like, sloths.
There are ogres practicing their javelin hurling.
Which direction are they throwing?
Towards the wall. There's like targets set up.
Okay, good.
Is the wall disappearing?
No, the wall's not disappearing this time.
So there's a lesson in this, I think. Does anybody think those ogres are going to pose an issue for us?
I think we just need to give them a little song and dance, and they'll be fine.
In my experience, ogres only bother you when you bother them. Trolls, ogres, what are they? Ogres?
They're ogres, yeah.
Yeah, that.
Do we
I
see
mean, I
any?
feel like we've given them a lot of reason to be bothered, considering we've killed almost every cultist we've found.
And we just stormed up here. I'm pretty sure they heard us.
Yeah. I also imagine that dragons talking is not a quiet endeavor at all.
He's in the basement.
Let's see what these things are.
I mean, I can hear the dragon talking right now.
Do we see any doors that look like they might be the captain's quarters or something? Or do they all kind of look the same?
No, but I mean, these are probably all something.
Yeah. Oh, there were those, the towers with the, more ogres on top.
Mm-hmm.
That could be what these little punch-outs are.
Ooh, you might be right.
Let's find out.
All right. So, Laven, as you open the door, you see.
Wrong location.
Hmm?
Towers were at the front of the castle. We're off to the side.
Ah.
Boy, that was a delayed response.
My mic was muted.
It's like, no, he just opened the right one. That's right.
Yeah, I was like, I think I opened the right door. Anyway, so these are giant guest chambers. So these rooms are set up very much the same as the room that you guys looked at downstairs, but instead everything is the correct size for people that are far, far larger than you.
Oh my god, is that a Parnas king-size bed?
Are we all going to share it?
Group
Let's
hug
hop
bed
in.
tonight?
Wait, no, I'm not. No.
Crispin uses sleight of hand.
Whose pocket did that hand just go in? Oh,
Can I look at this bookshelf again?
Yeah, go ahead.
I would like to
Oh, that's
grab
a
a
9.
book.
Oh, I'm
and
sorry,
throw
an
it at the
11.
wall.
11.
11. Okay. For what was that? Investigation.
Yes.
Um, it's the same. All of the books are light reading. Most of them are written in giant.
You're beginning to echo, bud.
Yeah, I don't know who's. Someone's got something there.
Alright, go ahead.
There we go. The books are all written in giant.
Alright.
I would like to grab one and throw it at the wall.
Okay, make a strength check.
Ugh. How about a 8?
An 8.
Yep.
Okay, yeah, you're able to pick up a book and you throw it at the wall, and it looks like the wall here has all been drawn as one big line, so I can't change it. But the same thing happens. The wall vanishes, and there's a landing platform outside, much smaller than the one above, or I mean, in the floor below.
See, Tyrannus was right. These bookshelves are magical.
Mm-hmm. As I just begin to head out, because I know the longer I stand, the more likely I'm going to be pushed off the edge.
Well, all we have to do is push someone against the wall and off they go, right?
There's a little landing outside, so they wouldn't immediately fall out of the castle.
Fair enough, fair enough.
So what kind of things can I read on the books?
Do you know giant?
I do.
Oh, the books are it's all light reading stuff again. You know, like something named Blagothcus Sawyer. There's old man.
Castles for dummies, that kind of thing.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, there's a couple books about like structural repair. Some of the giants that stay here are charged with repairing parts of the castle that break or crumble.
Or disappear when you throw books at them.
Yes, and to make sure that the vanishing walls are still in a working order.
Okay.
I'm going to head into... Oh, I'm sorry, Dan. Finish up.
No, just said moving on.
Alright. I'll check this door and kind of do my best to just silently creak the door.
Okay. Give me a second. That's room 24. Okay. I'm going to... You said you wanted to kind of silently open the door?
Yep.
A little bit?
Yep.
Okay.
Unless it's a pull door.
So inside the room, you see several kobolds. The room it looks like it goes on for a little while, so you're not sure how many, but they're trying to sleep on small piles of bedding, fur, and clothes. They appear to not be paying you any attention.
I'm going to shut that door.
Okay.
I'm just going to turn around and just goes, big sleeping force. Probably don't want to investigate further.
Okay. Maybe we gotta get to the other side of this thing.
Where all the ogres are?
Feel like going that way. Let's go the other way, away from the ogres.
I was thinking, like further down this hallway.
That's a much better idea. Yes.
Go to the ogres later. I don't
Hey,
think they'll be
look,
that bad.
stairs. Where do the stairs go?
Those stairs go back down to the lower courtyard, I believe. Yeah, they go back down to the lower courtyard. Kind of like around the side. They kind of go past the ice caverns. Actually, this gap in the wall back here was for it went down to the ice tunnels as well.
Than you.
Oh boy.
Woo, Jerry.
Up on top. I'll open the door here. So it's Oh God! Come on now. There we go. Oh, why won't it let me open the door? Oh my gosh! What is going on with my life right now? Laven, can you back up really quick? There we go. It wouldn't let me click on the line, so I just had to try to highlight it, and I didn't want to snag a character and delete them. So this is
Ballista. Hoard.
Oh, okay. Go ahead and make a stealth check, Laven, for opening the door.
Not too good. Oh, 13.
13. Okay. As you're opening the door, you notice what looks like a small chime at the top of the door. So you, when you're opening the door, you stop where the door meets the chime. That way, it doesn't ring. You see inside of a room. Sorry, so the ground floor. So the ogres are actually on top. They're on a parapet with the ballista. The ground floor, though, where you guys are, has a staircase hugging the interior wall, leading up to a landing with a door. The room itself contains sturdy wood-carved furnishings of giant proportions, including a table surrounded by 4 chairs. The walls are sculpted with ice murals depicting an army of hill, frost, fire, stone, and cloud giants. There are 4 ogres at the lower level. They're wearing fancy plumed helmets to signify that they're members of Blagothicus's honor guard.
So not only are these are ogres who have done things worthy of praise.
Yes.
Fancy ogres.
Very fancy ogres.
Do you guys want to talk to some ogres or what?
Not particularly.
Okay.
If you want to, by all means.
I mean, if we're attacking ogres, let's attack the ones on the other side of the castle.
I didn't say attack. I said talk.
Oh.
Do you speak ogre?
Don't we all?
Is it just like common, only slower?
Go ahead and make a nature check, Tyrannus.
Can I take the natural 1 on this?
Yeah, you have no idea what language they speak.
Yeah. Well,
Moving on, I think.
yeah, this may just be me taking a wild shot in the dark. They are giant in size. Maybe they speak giant. Or is that a sweeping generalization?
Racist.
I think this sounds accurate.
Door.
Want to open that door?
Yes, please.
Okay. It's another giant-sized guest chamber.
With more magic bookshelves?
Probably.
That's 2 magic bookshelves.
Ooh.
This is a tiny hallway. Oh no.
Oh, jeez.
Oh no.
Anyone else think it seems like there's a giant gap in the middle of this space? Like it's a big ring. What's in the middle?
There are gaps in it that you guys appear to have missed.
Is this like a slide or what is this?
Oh, right where you're looking. You see, Inside, you can kind of see a chamber, but there's no way for you to get to it through this wall. Like as you touch the outside of it, hoping that maybe it's a vanishing wall kind of thing, it doesn't open up. There must be some other way to get into that chamber that you can't see right now.
There is something we might be able to try, but it makes a number of assumptions and
Hey,
potentially dangerous assumptions.
hey, I found something.
Where are you?
I was heading back around to the ogres by this little freaking ice column, and I found something.
Oh.
What's
I
wrong
found
there?
sneaky path.
Obviously, you can't have long hair, so I'm gonna have to get it cut off.
Sneaky path.
It is that.
Do we want to proceed up sneaky path?
Is it up?
I'll follow
It is
your
on.
decision on this one. You're the one who found it.
Alright, I'm
Yeah.
going up a sneaky path.
I understand where the path is, but I'll let you do your thing.
Serpentine. I'm being sneaky up the sneaky path, just so you know.
Okay. I don't see you going up the sneaky path.
Yeah.
Bam.
I can't get past this first step either.
I found a door.
You might have to just click and drag because with you guys not being able to move through walls, it might not be.
Yeah, I had to
Yeah.
click and drag.
Sorry, Tyrannus.
Oh! Oh!
All right. Let's see. So, there, as you guys are walking up, you see this is like about a 100-foot high tower in shoddy repair. There are two entrances. There's one that you guys are at right now, and up about 75 feet above overhead, you guys can see a balcony. It's over there. I don't know if you can actually see it from where it's like up and to the right a little bit.
Nope, can't see shit.
Let's see, the ancient tower seems to be crumbling. The windows have been sealed shut with ice, and cracks have formed in the walls and roof cap. A balcony of sculpted ice hugs one side of the tower, 75 feet above the tower base.
Hey, when you moved me, I can't get back into the castle or on the path. Can you put me back where I'm supposed to be, please?
I didn't put you right there.
There we go. Thank you.
Okay. Right. It says see below.
Move.
So that's a door in front of us then?
It is. Yeah, that is the door in front of you guys there.
Alright.
Crack it open.
Somebody
Come in.
more of a scalpel than a hammer want to try and open this door?
Yeah, I'll
You're not both?
check to see if the handle's locked.
I'm scalpel
Go ahead and
attached to a hammer.
make a perception check.
Ooh, that's a good one. 19 plus. Where's perception? 7. 26.
26.
Yes.
So you can see that the amount of disrepair in this tower has actually rendered this door unopenable. However, as you look around, you see that the cracked and crumbling ice on the outside of the tower provides what you think would be abundant handholds.
Okay. You guys want to go up?
Yeah, we'll go up.
I will hang on to somebody's neck while they go up.
Neck.
How am I going to hold on to somebody's torso? My arms are only this big.
Would I be able to carry him? I got +5 athletics and +11 acrobatics, so
Let's just throw him up there.
you know. 75 feet's pretty.
I'm willing to
far.
try.
Oh, do we have
I'm
rope?
not.
Or do we use all our rope? Because we can just attach rope to me.
Nope, I think we're out of rope unless somebody else has a explorer's pack.
What about spider web?
I was not bitten by a radioactive spider. I'm
could.
sorry.
I could be.
Good spider.
And even
climb.
then, you'd have to make your own web shooters.
Depends which version we're talking about.
Yeah, depends on which version of this legend you're talking about. I've heard multiples.
The one that I've read.
I don't know which one you've read.
Oh, you mean the the spider that got bit by a radioactive human and now has to get a job?
Yes. Quite
All
the
right,
horror
guys.
story.
Stay on target.
I'm gonna turn into a giant spider.
Okay.
This is on
And
target. See, it all came full circle.
Then I'm gonna climb up.
All right. Go ahead and do you have like the stat block for a giant spider?
Yes.
All right. Go ahead and make a strength check with advantage.
Thank God for advantage. 16.
Oh wait, actually, sorry, I lied. When a spider has spider climb, it doesn't need to make an ability check. I apologize.
That's all right.
But it was good enough to get up there anyway.
Okay.
Alright, I'm going to start using the footholds to climb then too. And if
Okay.
anyone jumps on my back, I'm not going to stop them. I'm dumb enough to try.
All right, let's go.
All
Go
right.
ahead and
Am I at the top?
yes, yeah.
I'm gonna try to shoot some web down there, so that we can maybe try to climb it.
Okay, go ahead and make a
Like an attack?
like a
'Cause
oh
there's a
yeah,
web
do the web
ranged
attack. Do the
yeah.
do the web attack. Yeah.
The range is only
30-60, so I guess I can't make it all the way down.
Oh yeah. That's true.
it's a 17 to hit.
But at least it would give us something above 15 foot.
Okay, so as Spider Leovin's abdomen hangs over the edge of the balcony, you see a shimmer of rope shoot out of his spinnerets and stop about 60 feet from the ledge. So it's about 15 feet overhead.
Did you see
So-
where that came out of? I am not touching that. I'm
Yeah.
sticking to the footholds.
Yep, I'm sticking with footholds.
Knowing basic spider anatomy, I'm totally fine with this. And I will try to sit there while gripping onto the half-orc, taking my other hand, trying to reach out, because adhesives, definitely my friend right now.
Okay, go ahead and Tyrannus, make an athletics check with advantage. Crispin and Tony, make just regular athletic checks.
Oh, thank God that I got advantage on that. That is 16 plus 19, adjusted
Damn.
19.
Nice. 15.
23.
23. Okay. Hagrid, are you following these ocals up?
So this door is in disrepair, and that's why we can't open it.
Yeah, it's unopenable.
All right. Well, I guess there's no point in me trying to force it open. So yeah, I'll follow him.
Okay. Are you going to attempt to grab Leovin's web?
I don't think so.
You don't think so? Okay. All right. Go ahead and make an athletics check.
Adjusted 14.
14. Okay. So Tyrannus, you actually wind up making it up first using Leovin's web because it's nice and sticky. So you're able to work your way up without slipping and your hands getting so cold that it's hard to adjust your grip. But eventually, all of you guys do make it up to the ledge that Leovin is on.
Mm-hmm.
I give them a look of disappointment that only one person used the web.
Hey, that came out of your backside. Whatever comes out of my backside, I wouldn't grab onto either.
Hold
Yeah,
on,
his-
which one of his eyes is looking at us right now?
His
Yeah.
left backside is much different than yours.
All right. So there is a door up here. This door looks openable.
Well, then let's open a bullet.
Right. So inside the room,
Oh.
you guys see you see a pair of very pale-looking people.
I don't see shit.
Like human people?
Yes, they appear to be human. They're very pale. They look sort of old. There's a coffin sitting in the center of the room between them.
Perfect.
Are they sitting or standing or?
They're standing.
Okay. Are they
Side up?
clothed?
Are they alive?
They don't appear to be actively dead, Tony. Clothing, yes, they are clothed, Crispin.
Oh my god, why can't I get to this room?
They
Sorry.
appear to be topless.
All right, I got you. There. You can back yourself up to the doorway now.
Do we want to introduce ourselves? Or two
Yeah.
pale people are probably easier to take care of than 15 ogres, so.
Yes, Brent Seabrook, we should introduce ourselves.
Well.
Is the door all the way open?
Yes.
I'm just gonna go inside.
Hello.
As you guys walk inside, one of the women knocks on the coffin, and as the knock sort of rings through the chamber, the coffin door opens, and another very pale-looking person. It looks like at one point in time, this person was a moon elf. She sits up and excuse you, woman. She sits up and addresses you guys. Well, I wasn't expecting company. Who are you?
I'm Jonathan Tays. Alongside me is Patrick, Corey, and Duncan, and we're part of the Parnas Blackhawks. We're supposed to be traveling for a road trip, and these are our accommodations.
Given the state of this tower, I truly doubt you were sent here to sleep.
No. This is how we get to where our match is at. We're just, sightseeing. How often are you in a floating castle?
Go ahead and make a deception check.
Adjusted 25.
Okay. Excuse you, Bear. Why are you pushing me? So really, are you cultists? Are you members of this new guard of the cult?
I mean, we're none of the above.
We're whatever you want us to be, baby.
Go ahead and make a persuasion check, Crispin.
Oh, he is not smooth. That is an adjusted 2.
She looks at you and kind of chuckles. What about a vampire, half-orc? Would you like to be one of those?
I've already got the fangs for it.
At this point, she kind of starts to... really, it happens sort of quicker than you really think in your brain. It registers as it was incredibly smooth and incredibly fast, but she's no longer sitting up in her coffin, but standing in front of it.
You're not the only thing that can get erect in less than a second.
Oh, dear Lord.
I'm expecting like an awkward tiger growl to show up.
Does she look to have bad intent in her eyes, or are they just kind of dead?
Make an insight check.
It's a 13, whatever I adjust it to. It's a 14.
A 14.
Yep.
Hmm. She looks to have her eyes aren't dead. It's not like a doll's eyes. They're very much alive and looking at you with a curious hunger.
Oh, okay then. We're in business.
Yeah, totally intending to break the mood here. And it goes like, if we may ask a question, you're about the third weird thing we've seen on this castle today. Can you explain it? Why you're in a castle that has giants and dragons coexisting?
As you ask this question, she begins to sort of wax poetic. She's like, I am Sandus del Morgia. I've been with the cult for millennia. I was with the cult long before I became a vampire.
Tinkle.
I am, however, a member of the old guard of the cult, back before Severin took over. I served under Samister, and our intent was to kill dragons and raise them as Dracoliches, so they were even more powerful than before. I still believe this to be the true path. However, I am bound by circumstance to work with this new cult leadership.
What was her last name again? Del Morgia?
Morgia, Morgia. Her first name is Sandesyl, Sandesyl.
Okay. That's not quite what I was hoping to hear. So, what's this new guard want then? Because if you wanted to sit there and make dragons subordinate to you, even more powerful, what separates you guys from the new guard?
Severin and his worm speakers wish to resurrect Tiamat and bring her to this plane from the Nine Hells. And they hope to achieve power in this regard. Which to me seems daft. Why would you not just want to control the dragons that are here? What do you need with a dragon god that you can't achieve with 4 or 5 Dracoliches?
Now, do you know where this castle's heading? Like, we know we're on a delivery, but we never got filled in on that final destination part.
Go ahead and make a deception check with advantage.
Okay, first one is a 17, second one is a 15, so 17 minus 1, 16.
16. Alright. I know that it's in here somewhere where it's headed. Sorry, hang on a second, guys.
No worries.
This castle is headed towards. Well, really, you should know this, shouldn't you? Aren't you? Well, all right. This castle is headed for the Well of Dragons.
Oh, that's right. Sorry, half orc. Rock for brains.
He just joined the team.
Yes, half orc, half brains. I'm aware.
Yeah, that's not what I said.
That's what I heard.
It's what I've experienced.
So,
What was it?
Oh, you've experienced half orc before then.
I've slain my share.
So our next question here is, like, I've noticed that you've got some bad blood for Severin. I'm assuming Severin is the new leader of the cult right now?
You assume correctly.
Okay. Then next question is, do you have, like, where can we find Severin?
That I don't know. I'm not sure where Severin is. My job is to assist in making sure this castle is secure.
Doing a fine job of that, yeah.
Really, how did you get up here?
Your door guards let us in.
Left
Yeah.
foot,
No, how did
right
you-
foot, left foot, right foot, left foot.
We were
right-
actually trying to pay our respects to the old giant captain. Can you tell us where he's at?
Blagothkus. He he's likely in that that large tower with the ghastly ballista above it, atop it.
Ah, the ghastly one. Got it.
Again, all ballistas, all siege weapons. What use are siege weapons when you have Draco Liches? Seriously, how have we gone so far from the true path?
Well, I think the siege weapons is for when the cultists you're against have Draco Liches. You need the siege weapons to shoot them.
Wait, there's Draco Liches here? I haven't seen one yet.
Unfortunately, no, there are none here.
Hmm. So ballistas might have a use.
For now.
If I could spend a moment while they're all talking, can I size her up to see exactly how strong her vampire powers appear to be?
Sure. Why don't you go ahead and make a investigation check
Okay.
and add your perception to it as well.
It's not as bad as I thought. So roll to 12. Investigation brings that up to 18. Perception brings it up to 21.
A 21.
Mm-hmm.
What exactly is it that you're wanting to know?
Is this someone who looks particularly powerful? Like, if we sat there and just decided to jump her, exactly how boned would we be? Like, does it look like this is somebody who clearly is more powerful than us?
It looks like it's probably a fairly... She would put up a very good fight.
Okay. I continue doing nothing. But I begin to give shifty eyes over to Hagrid's, like, should we get out of here?
Sorry, I heard my name. What?
I'm just giving you shifty eyes, saying, it's like, hey, should we be getting out of here? Don't really want to spend too much more time with a vampire.
Can I spidey sense if there's any other entrances other than one we came through?
So there, in sort of back here, there is a small hole in the floor where there used to be a staircase. But as I've said, the tower is in incredible disrepair.
Okay.
Well, if she's going to allow us to leave, then let's leave.
Hey, Crispin, why don't you make a wisdom saving throw?
Oh boy. Let's see. It's a 10.
10?
Yes.
Okay. Are half orcs not able to be charmed like half elves are?
I don't believe.
She's gonna have her way with him.
Yes, unfortunately not.
All right. So as everyone starts to leave, Crispin, you realize it's it's a thought that sort of pops into your head.
It always is.
Maybe Sandazil, she seems like she'd be a good friend, and maybe she needs, maybe her goals are really better than your goals, and maybe she could use a little extra protection.
Okay. Hey guys, I think I'm gonna sit this one out.
What do you mean?
Sandazal, I just disregard what he said. I'm walking over to Sandazal. So, Sandazal, what do you have to bring to the table?
Bring to the
Can I
table.
call you Sandy?
Guys,
If I join Team Sandy, what's in it for old Crispin?
How does immortality sound?
I was hoping you'd say drugs, but that's not a bad offer either.
Guys, he's a real lightweight. We should probably get him out of here before he does something he regrets.
Agreed. Yeah.
Now, how do I get this immortality? Is it something I pop? Do I shoot it up? Do I smoke it?
She smiles and kind of bares her fangs and gives a little snarl.
I smile and bare my fangs and give a little snarl.
I would like to grab his leg and try and get them out from underneath him and drag him out the door.
All right.
Oh, by the way, I'm going to use a bonus action to counter charm. And next time that he makes a save against this charm effect, he gets advantage.
Okay.
Speaking to myself, trying to whisper some words that can cancel out the charm effect.
Okay. All right. And what is it? It gives him advantage on his saving throw against it?
From what I understand, I don't have my player's handbook out right now, is that
Okay.
it gives people advantage against being charmed.
This is a spell, correct?
This is a bard ability.
Oh, a bard ability. Okay.
Yep.
Let me try to find that. In the meantime, Tony, why don't you go ahead and make a strength check, and Crispin, if you're going to resist this, then also make a strength check.
All right, I am making a strength check. Ooh, that is a 4. An adjusted 4.
I got a 15.
A 15?
Yep, 1-5.
Okay. Let's see. All right. Sorry. You gain the ability to use as an action. You can start a performance that lasts until the end of your next turn. During that time, you and any friendly creatures within 30 feet of you have advantage on saving throws against being frightened or charmed. It has to be able to hear you to gain the benefit. Okay. All right. So, Crispin, as you kind of get slammed to the ground by Tony pulling your legs out from underneath you, why don't you go ahead and make another Wisdom saving throw with advantage?
Okay, the first one, the 6. The second one is a 3. So we're going with the 6 plus 1 as a 7.
A 7.
I'd like to try and drag him out the door saying, "Come on, lover boy, you're drunk."
Okay.
Get off me, Goliath.
Make another strength check. Crispin, why don't you make this strength check with disadvantage?
I don't need disadvantage. A 3 and a natural 1. Jesus.
I got a 9.
All right. So yeah, you start dragging Crispin towards the door.
Sandy.
Sandazel, she takes a step forward and kind of gives a snarl towards you, Tony.
Yeah, I know. You're vicious.
Why don't you and Crispin both make a wisdom saving throw? Again, you guys both have advantage on this.
And you said wisdom?
Yes.
Is it technically magic? Either way, I got a total of 20.
Yes, it is magic. Okay, so you're able to resist the effect, Tony. Laven, not Laven. Crispin, what did you get?
I got I didn't roll the wisdom.
Yeah, roll that with advantage.
Okay. 17. 5, so 18.
18. Okay. You actually feel yourself sort of. You feel a moment of clarity in your mind, and you wonder, why the hell did I want to hook up with a vampire so badly?
Have we made it out the door yet?
Not yet. Go ahead and make another strength check. Crispin, if you're no longer resisting him, you can make one, and it can help you guys get out the door faster.
Yeah, I'm not.
Would I need to recharge my web to use it again?
We can just say that as this has occurred, that it's recharged.
Okay.
I think that would have been something we could have been doing during that time, but I think that enough time has passed.
I got a 19.
Okay. Crispin, what was your strength check?
It's an adjusted 11.
Adjusted 11. Okay. Are you helping and hurting now?
I am helping now.
You are helping now? Okay.
Yes, realizing that Tony is my true love.
All right. You guys are able to make it out the door, no problem.
Once those two get through the door, I would like to use the Ray of Frost cantrip to see if I can kind of seal the door shut.
Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, so that the ranged attack, and that will be an 11 to hit a door.
That will hit a door.
Yeah, and then it will do 10 points of cold on the door.
10 points of cold.
Yep.
All right. Yeah. As you guys close the door, you see Tyrannus start working his hand and uttering some words from his book, and a ray of cold that kind of reminds you of the dragon's breath a little bit goes out, and it blasts the door and spreads out across the door, and you hear the sounds of sort of ice forming, as we all know from cartoons or whatever, and the door seems to be frozen shut, especially so as Sandazil runs to the door and starts pounding on it. But yeah, so you guys are out.
Double time. Let's get out of here.
Yep.
Laven, what were you saying?
Well, it sounds like it was already good. I was gonna also web the door.
Oh, okay.
Sounds like it's frozen pretty good.
All right. So how are you guys getting down? Laven, are you doing anything to try to help anybody this time?
Is my web still here, or not really?
No, not really, because it was never able to attach to anything, so it's just kind of dangling from your butt cheeks.
Okay. So I'm gonna try to web the top and jump down and drag it with me.
Okay.
Or spider climb down and drag it with me.
Okay. For this one, why don't you go ahead and make the ranged attack again,
Okay.
and tell me what you roll for damage on that.
It's a 14 to hit.
Okay.
Where is the damage? It doesn't have a damage.
Doesn't have a damage?
No.
Oh.
It just restrains. It restrains with a DC 12 strength check.
Oh, okay. So, tell you what. Let's go ahead then and make a strength check, and let me know what the number is.
A 9.
A 9. Okay. All right. Who is going to try to sort of zip line down the webbing?
I'll go first.
Yeah, I'll go with.
Okay.
Still
Anyone
dragging
who,
the water boy.
We should go lightest to heaviest, probably. For doing
All
this.
right, I'll go first.
anyone who is going to be ziplining down the webbing, go ahead and make an athletics check with advantage.
Alrighty.
17.
Okay.
Total of 20.
3.
What was yours, Crispin? 23?
Yep.
Sorry, Haggard, I spoke over you. What was it?
4.
24. Okay. All right, guys. So you're able to slide down the rope with no problems at all as you guys slowly pile into the hairy, fuzzy spider butt of Leovan down at the bottom.
This is what I was trying to avoid on the way up.
I'm going to put you guys down at the bottom of the pathway just so everyone's life is easier.
All right, so we have a bag of chips up to the north in that room with the royal guard, it sounds like.
No, it was another tower, I guess, attached to this thing.
Oh, yes, this thing. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Center hub.
Was it? Huh.
Because the other one just led to a ballista.
Well, she said there was a ballista on top, right? And he was in the one. He was on top of the one with the ballista.
But if you were to fly a castle, would you really, do it from the ass end of it?
That is true.
I mean, this is probably the most poignant thing I've ever heard you say.
Tony, go ahead and make a survival check.
I can do that. What am I surviving? Let's go with a 25.
A 25. Okay. So you can see that although that castle that you guys were just at, or not castle, tower that you guys were just at, although it is taller than the tower with the ballista on it, it's very narrow, and it is the tower with the ballista on it is probably the highest, best view from up here.
Okay, we'll go fight ogres.
Wait.
We could talk to ogres.
One last thing before we do. You said in this little frozen off tunnel here.
Yeah.
That was something that when you try to touch it, the walls didn't break down.
Right, yeah. The wall is very thick. You can sort of just barely make out that there is a room back there through the opacity of the ice.
What would happen if I casted Firebolt at it? And by that, I mean I'd like to cast Firebolt to melt the ice.
Oh.
Go ahead and make a nature check.
17 plus 4, 21.
21. Okay. You realize that it would take a fair number of firebolts to get through the ice, and a fair number more to get it open to the point where you could step through the hole.
All right, at that point I give up the idea because we got bigger fish to fry.
Are we gonna try to talk to the ogres? We're gonna straight attack. Should we go half through one door, half through the other?
Well, we've only opened one door, so we should probably access the other one first.
I
And
think
the one door had a bell on it.
Oh, good.
The display of power definitely makes sense. However, open aggression maybe not the best idea. I guess one of the things I would sit there and say, what I would think here is, let's get the story, see if there's a way that we can turn these giants against the dragons. And if that fails, then we eliminate the giants from the board.
Well, I assume just telling them that the people want to get a dragon god arisen is enough to turn the giants against them. No.
One would think, but I don't know why there's a dragon literally beneath these guys right now, and that's not a problem. So
Yeah.
be prepared for everything. Plan on fighting, but hopefully we can sit there and negotiate our way out of this. But
Plan on fighting. Got it. Plan on fighting. You had me at that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right.
Well, last time I tried to talk to someone, I fell in love, so someone else should probably take the lead.
You didn't fall in love. You just crushed too hard.
Yeah. How's
It
that?
was love. You don't know how I felt.
How's that hangover going for you?
You don't know how I felt.
All right. Who's opened the door?
Well, somebody wants to talk to him. We should probably have one of our more persuasive, types do it. The ones with persuasion towards the arts and farts.
Well, fair enough then. As I this time I'll sit there. He's like, you guys stay out of sight, because I'm gonna kick this door and knock the chime off. And then after a few seconds, seeing them not move, I'm just gonna open the door and knock the chime off anyway.
All right, so as you open the door with all your gnomish might, the chime gets rung by the door, swings around quite a lot, but doesn't actually fall off. The 4 ogres in the room, though, they all turn to look at the door. One of them knocks a chair over because they're pretty big.
I'm looking for Blagothkus. Do you guys know where Blagothkus is?
The 2 ogres in front, they look at each other and exchange as they slam their actually, what do they have? They slam their weapon to the ground and kind of look imposingly at you.
I will do the same with my hands. I just smack my fist. I cast Comprehend Languages.
So how does that?
So it essentially gives me a 1 minute of comprehending any language spoken to me, and I'll be able to understand what they're saying. If it was reading, I have to make contact with the text to have it translate.
You understand the literal meaning of any spoken language you hear. That's funny. So you wouldn't understand sarcasm.
Exactly.
Okay. So you and actually Hagrid, you hear this, although not clearly because your proximity to the door isn't phenomenal. But the ogres said to each other, "What did he say? I don't know. Let's just be mean." And that's what he slammed his javelin on the ground and tried to intimidate you.
I'll start off by saying, in their language, I don't understand intimidation. It comes from social problems that I have. I'm working on it, but where is Blagothkus?
So comprehend languages actually doesn't allow you to speak the language.
Okay, then I'll say it in my language. I'm still saying it.
Okay. Again, you hear them. You hear them exchange confused statements about what it is that you're saying, and this time both of them slam their javelins to the ground and try to, be imposing.
All right, at this point, I recognize the futility. I give them the Rick and Morty peace among worlds sign, and then I walk out. I just goes like, "Well, guys." They were entirely confused by our presence, and they just decided to look intimidating in order to get the conversation going. So unless somebody can speak their language, that's a dead end.
So fuck it, I'll walk in, grunt at them, give the Tiamat salute, and point upstairs.
Okay, go ahead and make a persuasion check.
I'm good at those, not at all. But I rolled a natural 20.
Plus
0.
Really? You have 0 in persuasion? That's
Yep.
funny. All right. Yeah, so they look at each other. The two ogres in front double check with the ogres in back. Tyrannus and Hagrid, you understand them kind of have a brief conversation to the effect of, "Are we supposed to let cultists upstairs? Do any of them have to see Blagothkus?" And the ones in the back are like, I don't know, but I think that we should probably let them up, because if they're supposed to be there, then I don't want to get in trouble. And so they sort of step aside and allow you guys access to the staircase.
See, was that so hard?
I mean, nicely done. And as I cross these ogres, I just stick my tongue out at them. Because if they don't understand common, I also hope that they don't understand common nonverbal communication.
What the hell is that? Okay. All right. So as you guys head up to the upper floor, you come into a room. The walls of this room are sculpted with icy murals depicting cloud giants riding giant birds. An enormous bed with a headboard of ice sculpted to resemble clouds dominates the room. Bear furs are heaped upon the bed, and two large wooden chests rest at the bed's foot. A blue-skinned giant sits on the floor with his legs crossed, while two ogres comb his snowy white hair. The giant's hulking morning star leads against the bed within arm's reach.
All right, Tyrannus.
Is Laven
your
still a
turn.
spider?
As far as I know, yeah.
All
Okay.
right, Tyrannus should try and be persuasive again, or Hagrid, because I think Hagrid speaks giant.
Yeah, what the fuck do you want me to do in this?
Yep, Hagrid, you're up.
Pass.
Tyrannus, you want to try and speak common to him?
Hello, are any of you Blagothkus?
You hear a deep booming voice come from the figure who's facing away from you. I am Blagothkus. Who are you? Why are you in my chambers?
First off, I got special orders. We're supposed to set this castle down right now. We need to make
Special orders from whom?
Severin, we need to make an emergency landing.
He kind of grumbles to himself for a while, or not for a while, but he grumbles to himself and says something under his breath. Why don't you guys make a perception check to see if you hear what it was?
That is
Adjusted 19.
adjusted 12.
Yes.
You said perception?
Yeah, perception.
Total
What
of
do I
20.
do? What do I do for that if I'm still a spider?
Perception is you still keep your mental stats when you wild shape, so
Oh, so okay. Then it's a 25.
25. Okay. All right. You guys all hear him say under his breath, "Fucking cultists think they can just boss me around. Just wait until I get the rest of the giants to rally on it, and none of these cultists will have a single dragon left to pray to." As he stands up and grabs his morning star as he turns around, and you hear the leather along the shaft of the morning star creak and groan as
Apparently, leathery shaft makes Alexis giggle.
no, she's laughing because of how hard I'm struggling to speak English.
Nope, I'm gonna stick with leathery shaft.
But anyway, so you hear the leather groan and creak as he has both of his hands sort of ring the shaft of his morning star, and he says, "How did you get a message from Severin? And why does Severin think she can tell me when an emergency landing is needed?"
First
Or he
off,
can tell me. Sorry, Severin's a guy.
yeah, first off, I just got an arcane message sent. And I am not one to sit there and question orders. I'm sorry for the inconvenience this is causing you. This is terrible. Severin's kind of a dick of a boss, but I'm just trying to do my job so Severin won't kill me. And now looking at you grip that, you might kill me too. So just understand I'm only the messenger here.
The giant, he looks at you. He says, we took off over a day ago. How are you getting these orders now? Who are you really? Where does your allegiance lie? And what are your plans?
You know, we're not with the cultists, and we would like nothing more than to help you and your giant brethren help us overtake them.
He looks to you and he gives you a sort of a deep nod. He says, I appreciate your candor, Goliath. I'm sick and tired of being lied to. These bastard cultists. I can take care of them, but just in case, you should know that they are entirely serious about making dragons a power along the coast again. Can you imagine the nerve?
And that's what we're here to stop. And whatever you can do to help us and whatever we can do to help you is what we want to do.
Go ahead, Hagrid. Make a persuasion check with advantage.
Moving on. Oh my, that would be an adjusted 21.
Nice. All right. So. You're 19. Okay. Alrighty. So, Blagothkus, he looks to you again. He gives a nod to the rest of the party. He says, alright, they weren't, I'm not doing this because it was, and he looks at you, Tyrannus, and says, Severin's orders. But you've inspired me to know that it's not just us giants working against the dragons. I'm gonna crash this castle. And he grabs his morning star. He nods to his ogres, and he heads out the door, kind of pushing through you guys as he goes out. Before he goes through the door and back down the stairs, he looks back and he says, if you have any business, you've got about an hour to take care of it. Otherwise, brace yourselves. And he leaves. And the ogres follow him out.
I think that's the first time we've actually succeeded in convincing someone to do something without involving violence.
Speaking of violence, should we expect the ogres now to be at least not against us?
The ogres that Blagothkus goes past, you can probably assume that he would have told them what he's doing and potentially who you are.
Okay, so we can explore the rest of the area and find more shit to kill, or find some shit to kill. Let's kill something.
You've got about an hour. I am going to be subtracting time from that based on what it is you guys do. I'm going to start once Tyrannus gets back. He is AFK at the moment.
I just had to Google AFK, so
it's away from keyboard.
I'm totally with the times.
You are adorable, Scott.
Well, there was that room full of kobolds if we want to go slaughter all them.
Well, I'm gonna turn back into myself.
Aren't there some other high-level dragon claws here? Cultists that we can dispatch, possibly?
So there are none of the worm speakers are here. The highest ranking cultist who is on this ship was Resmir. She was the only worm speaker aboard.
Oh, okay.
To do that,
What was that, Laban?
is that what we want to do? Like, we want to go kill some people? Like, if we're crashing this, do we need to do that?
Well, we only have an hour, so do we have time to do that?
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like, why do we want to do that?
We should probably decide where we want to be in it with when the hour runs out.
Towards the top.
Then we should start moving there.
Is that safer?
I don't know.
I thought we were already at the top of the highest.
Wait, no,
tower.
but if we're landing, don't we want to be on the bottom so we could get out?
But all the rubble
But it-
will fall on top of
You
you.
said we're crashing. Yeah.
Oh,
We're not
crashing.
landing. We're crashing.
Well, we could go kill that vampire
We're
chick.
falling with style.
Let's go kill vampire chick.
I think we get to safe ground.
Can we go ride that dragon we fed?
All right, what is safe ground?
High up and somewhere with an exit so we can like jump off.
Wait,
Since we're on a tower with a ballista, I think we're high up and we're with an exit.
I'm going to clarify this just because I know that it's confusing. You guys aren't actually on the roof of that tower. You're on the upper floor of it. You're in Blagothkus's bedroom, basically. The ballista is on the parapet of that tower.
if we're crashing, that means the dragon's crashing, so he's probably going to want to get out too. Why don't we just have him take us with him?
Why would we inform the dragon that there's going to be an emergency crash?
So we don't die?
Well, there are two things in which we can go about here. I can shape change, and from what I understand, looking at our druid, I'm not the only one. So if we can sit there and change our shape into something where you guys can ride on us, then we just need to escape the castle.
Say I can go giant eagle. I don't know how much I can carry though. Like if you guys.
I think inevitably Hagrid and I will be the biggest problem, being Goliaths and having such large weight.
At this point, I just look at.
You mean Hagrid?
Yeah. I look at him, or I look at Tony, then I look at Lev, and I go, you know what? I'll take that sacrifice. I'll carry Tony.
Though I did see some
DM, I
small
have a
dragons.
question.
Sorry, what was that, Hagrid?
I said, DM, I had a question.
Oh, yes, absolutely. What is your question, Hagrid?
Find Steed summons an animal which is normally a land-based ridden animal.
Ooh, wait.
It does allow me to, if you allow, to summon other creatures as steeds.
He brings up a good point.
So
I can-
can a giant eagle be an acceptable summon?
I was gonna say I can conjure that too.
Oh, yeah.
So I can
There's
get us
a third
each
option
our own
here.
ride.
There's a
Um,
third option here as
Let me
well.
find that. I'm finding you an answer, Hagrid, while you guys talk.
There's another spell I have called Featherfall, and basically is we get 1 minute. Like if I can cast it a minute before the castle crashes, all we have to do is jump off the castle, and it'll slow our descent down. And if we land while I am still concentrating on the spell, we should be absolutely fine in the landing. Like, no questions about it. It's just we'd have to jump off as soon, like, at the last possible second.
Okay.
I can
All right.
I
'Cause
can
that spell
conjure.
will cover our entire party.
We could also do a combination.
So yeah, I can conjure 4 giant eagles
Oh,
and turn into one myself. I just have to use a 5th level spell slot that I just got. So
Oh, and also with this is it's a reaction, so I don't have to time it at all to when the castle, like we jump off the castle, I have to time it before we land.
Well, if
so we should jump off at the same time.
Whoever wants to save his really awesome 5th level slot, congratulations.
All I would say here is,
And I can save my 2nd level slot for whatever fighting may occur. Like Tyrannus' idea, the Featherfall.
that being said, it is reckless. It comes down to a lot of planning, which may like end up just being plain dumb luck. But it is the lowest level of magic compared to everything we've talked about. If we want to sit there and know for sure that we're going to be okay, I think going with the giant eagles makes the most sense. But if we're okay taking a risk,
I don't think Featherfall is worth it because, yeah, we'll land safely, but what about the massive debris field that's going to come from crashing a castle made out of ice and full of gold?
I think Featherfall's the coolest idea.
Yeah, we'll be falling slower than the castle.
But the debris will come back up from the crash site.
And this is why I sit there and say it's reckless. It is an option. I'm not saying it's the best option. It just
What about?
I just want to point out that Hagrid jumped on the reckless option right away, and I think that says something.
Well, I'm just thinking that there's going to be some resultant action from us being able to get this done, and we may need to fight and have high-level ability stuff available.
Well, there were those small dragons. We could see if we can convince them to ride us. They appear to be in a stable type deal.
I would feel so much better about the less people knowing our presence, because that would give us the easiest route to escape.
Yeah.
And that's also why I like the giant eagles on this, is that if we can sit there and we don't have to worry about terrain, that means the only thing that could possibly catch us is the dragon. And if the giants are going to help to occupy the dragon's attention, we can get away, see the outcome, and inform the plan.
I'm going to let you guys keep going. I just want to let you know that of your hour, about 20 minutes have elapsed. Hagrid, you can use Flying Steed to summon a flying creature to ride. However, it's going to be harder to do, so it's going to take you a little more time. So the casting time for Flying Steed's about 10 minutes. It's going to take you 15 to 20 to get something that'll fly.
All right, understood.
Laban, go ahead.
How do you tell how much something can carry?
It's kind of a judgment call on my end.
So, like a giant eagle could only carry one of us each?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
If there was one for everyone, that would be fine. A single giant eagle may be able to carry Tyrannus and Tony.
I would become one of said giant eagles.
Because because I can become one, and without using my 5th level, if I just use a regular 3rd level, I can still get 2.
I think we should be able to get down on 3 of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. If Tony rides me,
So yeah, Tony with you, Crispin and Hagrid each with one of the summoned ones.
Okay.
And then am I by myself?
Well, couldn't you just carry either Crispin or Hagrid so you'd only have to summon one eagle?
There's
honestly,
no advantage to only summoning one. It's still the same. Like
Oh,
I get
Same
2.
cost?
Yeah, I get
Yeah,
2.
what I would sit there is maybe we have a decoy as well, and that way, if they think there's more targets, that spreads out their forces more.
All right,
Not a bad idea.
Let's go with that
You want
plan.
us all turn into Harry Potter at the same time then too, or what?
Hey
I
man,
think we just need to get down on the ground. Let's keep it simple.
All right, flying eagles to the ground. Let's do it.
All right, I'm gonna summon 2 giant eagles.
how long does my pollen work last? I think it's only an hour.
Should we do this right as we're descending? So
Oh,
that
yeah,
we don't
probably
push ourselves away too early, or
And,
we're
and that
gonna-
it only lasts an hour for me. So
Let's do it within probably 10 minutes of the completion of the hour, and then we can tail the castle to where it crashes.
Perfect.
Cool.
Just about it.
Yep, sounds like a plan.
Yeah, I got no issues with that because it's 1 hour, so I don't want to sit there and blow my load too early.
All right. So
All right. So your guys' plan then, let me clarify, is to, at the 50-minute mark, enact the summoned eagles and then the polymorphed or wild-shaped eagles so that you guys can take off and then follow the castle or find the ground, whichever.
yes.
Find
Combination.
find somewhere where we can at least see where the wreckage is.
Safely obtain terra firma while keeping track of the castle.
Okay.
eat it. Eat it.
And I'm going to tell one of the giant eagles to fly away a different direction if something comes towards us.
Okay.
Are we in a spot where there's no roof overhead, right? We can do our
Correct.
plan where
Yeah,
we're at. Okay, good.
You guys are on the upper courtyard. You're at the top. It's just blue skies above you. Well, really, it's clouds. It's a lot of cloud cover.
Because that would have been just great. We put this plan together and we're in a hallway.
Yeah, right. All right, guys. So you guys are good to go. You've got about, at this point, maybe 25 minutes until the 50-minute mark.
So 35 minutes remaining in the hour?
Yes.
Yeah.
Or in the name of expedition, we can just move right to our plan. And
We could. If you guys didn't want to go do anything else, we can skip to the 50-minute mark there.
I'm more concerned about my safety than anything else.
Yep. Expedite.
the only thing I really need other than that is a bathroom break.
Okay, let's do that, and then we'll be right back in 5 minutes, guys.
Sounds good.
All right.
Hey, this is Jay Clark from Jaygeons Dragclarks. This is another break. Why don't you just skip forward? You don't need to see these ads.
Anyone back yet?
Yeah, I just got back.
Woo! Perfect timing. I've been throwing small children.
Oh, all right.
What?
Do you guys have your prime timeline character sheets at hand at all?
I can easily open it.
Yep.
Okay.
Except.
That's what we're calling it, though.
The prime timeline? Yeah.
The darkest time.
That's what I've been calling it the whole time, at least.
Yeah, this is the beta timeline.
String theory, man. Actually.
Alrighty. What is on my face?
Who knows?
It kept like floating by my face. But this is something I haven't looked at in a long time.
Alrighty, Crispin is back.
Alright.
Dagger tier 2.
Oh, alright, cool. Alright, guys. So where are you guys gonna hang out right where you're at right now for the oops, sorry, Bear. For the time, or are you gonna get into a different position to get ready to go, or are you wanting to like kind of sort of jump off the back of the castle in a way?
I would have to imagine by now someone has noticed we're in rapid descent. So I would think the earlier we leave and get into that safe distance, the better.
So actually, you have not felt any descent, Tyrannus.
I think we just
Okay,
need to
then
get
once we
an open area.
Okay, so I mean, you guys are in an open area right now. So if you're fine there, that's fine. I was just asking.
Yeah.
All right. So as the time ticks by, you guys are keeping a close count of it in your minds. Right at about the 50-minute mark, Leovan casts his spell. Right, you were conjuring the eagles, right, Leovan?
Yes.
Okay, we went through so many iterations of it, I can't remember where we're at. All right, so Leovan conjures his eagles, then he himself turns into an eagle, and Tyrannus polymorphs himself into a giant eagle as well. And you feel very large, by the way, Tyrannus.
I kind of just move around a little bit, just not used to this form.
Right, and as you guys are going. Leovan and Tyrannus, obviously you guys can't speak in your current forms, but you all give each other a look, and Hagrid and Tony and Crispin, you guys start like a short countdown, and once you hit 1, you feel a tremendous surge as you're pulled off of this castle up into the cloud cover, and as you guys are flying through the sky, held aloft by these eagles, and being eagles yourselves, you are you're chasing behind the castle to see where it goes. You start to lose sight of it in the cloud cover, and then all of a sudden the castle passes you by on your. And as you're noticing this happen, the cloud cover starts to break, and you realize why you haven't felt a descent the entire time. The castle wasn't crashing into the ground per se. It was waiting for the ground to come to it. And you find yourselves in a massive mountain range with a peak just in front of you. So before you guys can even react to what's happened, all right, Bear, get out of the way. I'm busy here, dude. As you guys realize what's happening, all 5 of you crash into the side of this mountain, and the impact of it is very jarring. You all go rolling through the snow. The wind is whipping and howling around you. Leovan and Tyrannus, you guys find yourselves, from the surprise, the impact, and the cold, you find yourselves incapable of maintaining your animal form. And as you're rolling, your feathers start to fade, and your body starts to return to its former form. As you guys are rolling and sort of sliding down this hill, you come to a flat spot, and again, you feel it's very similar to the feeling you guys felt in Parnast when the castle began its preparations to lift off. You feel and you hear this deep, just like almost brown note level vibration in the ground and in the air, as you see shards of ice go flying up into the air from a nearby peak that the castle itself crashed into. And as all this is happening, the wind again is howling, it's whipping around you, snow is stinging your eyes, the cold is almost unbearable, as your fingers and toes are already starting to go numb. Tony, you don't even know what a finger or a toe is anymore at this point. And as you guys are sort of laying there on the ground, a raven lands on the hillside next to you, and it hops towards you. Takes 1 hop, 2, 3 hops. Gives you guys like the side eye as it's turning its head to regard you, and it opens its mouth. And where you would typically hear a cawing noise, you hear a familiar voice instead, and it says, "Friends, Leis and Aranthar kindly invites you to join the Waterdeep." And as the voice is coming out of this bird, you feel your vision start to you start to get tunnel vision, and as you're focusing on the bird and this voice that's coming out of it, you guys it gets distant, more and more distant and echoey as the blackness gets closer and closer and closer to a point to where eventually it's nothing but blackness, and the voice stops, the cold goes away, the wind howling dims to nothing, and all of a sudden you hear a crackling fireplace. You smell must, damp, not cold but cool, and you wake up, you open your eyes, and you find yourself, except for Crispin, you find yourselves sitting in the study of the Blue Water Inn in Barovia. Looking around, you see Tony with his thunder cannon at his side, surrounded in parts of a stool. You see Hagrid no longer encumbered by his bright shield and his golden bison helmet. Instead, he's in his garb of the cleric. Leovan, your staff is gone, instead replaced with your trusty bow. Looking around the room, you find Lucian beside you again, whom you feel it's been quite some time since you've seen. And yeah, so that's
at this point.
Okay.
At this point, as you begin to look around the room, you see what appeared to be the same raven that was with you in the mountains. It still continues to give you that side eye, but as your vision begins to become more clear and more normal, you all are sitting around one of the main tables in the study, and there's more ravens. And it seems to be that there's more than meets the eye with these ravens. But as of right now, you all return into the safety of the Blue Water Inn, one of the last strongholds of the Resistance in Barovia. And at this point, what would you like to do?
Gentlemen, I just had the worst nightmare that I was a mentally challenged imbecile.
At this point, Tony, I want you to roll a wisdom saving throw with advantage.
Wisdom saving throw with advantage. Alright.
Do all of us need to do this?
Just Tony right now.
Just Tony? Okay.
I rolled a 17.
As you sit there and, like most dreams, you expect to remember kind of the broad strokes, but the minor details are kind of hard to note. But for you, it's not like it's a dream at all. It's like you left your body and lived in another iteration from you. You remember every single detail about your trip.
Oh god, it's worse than I thought. I am actually a mentally challenged idiot in another world.
Well, now, Tony, it's hard to overcome being mentally challenged.
Hey, I'm comparing an 8 to a 17 for intelligence, so...
Lucian,
I feel like I haven't seen you guys in forever, like
roll
a
your wisdom
lifetime.
saving throw with advantage.
With advantage, alrighty. Where's my D20? All right, a wisdom saving throw. That's a 17.
As you once again go through this entire process of coming to terms with everything, instead of being with everybody else, you remember being sold into slavery. You remember fighting in fighting pits in order to appease the person who had bought you. You remember trying to break away from that slave gladiatorial camp. And as both you and Tony begin to look down, there's something that's not quite right. Both of you have a tattoo on your left arm. And of yours, you see crossed swords. And Tony, yours, you see it's a crudely drawn bear. Not kind of like anything that you've seen. It's like a 6-year-old drew on your arm and then made that a tattoo. But both of you feel like this is something that there's something more to it.
Okay.
And I look around and wonder who the hell stole my bison ring.
Roll your curse or your wisdom saving throw with advantage.
22.
You fully realize it's more than just memory for you. It's that what that portal sent you through was sending you into another universe of light. This essentially you jumped parallel dimensions. And this was where the main difference here was instead of taking, like, you took the oath to follow your deity and to protect the ideals of your deity, where in this life, the deity chose you, not the other way around. And you recognize that that ring belongs to you in a different life. But as you look into your hand and see that ring, you find although the ring isn't there, you see the bison head tattooed into your left hand.
As I sit in silent reflection, fondly remembering the feeling that my character had of the other myself, I look back with nothing but happy memories of it.
And as you go through that reflection, that helps you attune to the process of your tattoo. And this does not count towards your attuned items because this is a power within you. Due to the crossover, once per day, you are able to use the power of your tattoo to add smite damage of a 2nd level spell to any attack that is hit.
Damn.
Awesome.
So go ahead and write that down in your character notes. It's a once per day spell. So from essentially, in order to keep it simple, from sunrise to sunrise of the normal day, 24 hours in Barovia because the sunrise is different. You'll get to use that ability once on your command. What else would you guys like to do?
I want to like grab the person closest to me and make sure I'm in reality right now.
Roll your wisdom saving throw with advantage.
Who is the person nearest him?
Who would like to be the person nearest him? You guys are all sitting around each other.
Let's go with me. I haven't had any
accurate.
contact with the party in a while.
There's an 18.
At 18, you have the same realization as Tony and as Lucian, is that it felt like a dream, but it was more than a dream. You remember all the minute details. You remember the obnoxious gnome, running into your spider ass as you're climbing down the icy tower, running away from a vampire. You remember the wagon exploding and how you got fired from the caravan based off of listening to, once again, an obnoxious gnome. You remember this gnome trying to convince you he was a dragon. And at one point you realized you knew nothing about gnome culture. And at this point, as you come down, you look and you see what appears to be a doppelganger tattooed onto your forearm.
Oh, that's hilarious. I just got that. I was like a doppelganger. Ha.
So as you guys all collect yourself and sitting around this table, I want you all to make a perception check.
That is a 17.
Adjusted 10.
25.
It's okay. This is a very obvious thing.
11.
Both Finn and Berlin are inside this Blue Water Inn, both sleeping, just kind of doing their thing. You don't see any tattoos on their forearms. You just assume that you guys all went on a drunken bender and got tattoos. But the one thing that is the most jarring is there's a half-orc that you've never seen in Barovia. You weren't aware that half-orcs populated this plane of existence. This individual has kind of a wry smile on, kind of glancing around the room, kind of wondering where they are. And at this point, you begin to realize that maybe you weren't the only individuals that were sent back. You're kind of surprised that the gnome wasn't there, but then again, you guys never really had a connection to the gnome. But as you look at him, he has a striking resemblance to a rogue you once met. At this point, Crispin, what would you like to do?
I would like to do a... Do I recognize them? Do I have the same fuzzy memory?
Yeah, roll a wisdom saving throw with advantage.
It is a 12. Hold on 1 second. Just gotta switch character sheets.
So at this point in time, Tony, I'm thinking we should have gone about those kobolds.
Say again, I couldn't hear you.
I just jokingly said we should have gone and fought those kobolds, so we would have at least killed something in our final day.
I know, right?
16.
16, yeah. You sit there, and it's a dream, but not a dream. The same explanation for everybody else carries through for you. You remember individuals that looked very much like these guys.
Except for me.
Yeah.
And I have no clue how I got to where I am, or am I aware of this current life? Or how I got to Barovia?
The last thing that you remember was seeing that raven on the side of the mountain claimed to be Leosin, or speaking for Leosin. And remember a teleportation circle, which looked a lot like, for what you didn't know, but for everybody else in the party, it looked like exactly what dragged you in with the last time you remember being at the Blue Water Inn. It seemed like there had been some sort of interference of this teleportation circle that sent you towards Waterdeep and the Sword Coast, and now it seems like it has corrected itself. And as you look down on your forearm, you sit there and you see crossed daggers.
Huh.
It seems like you were also at this drunken bender where you guys all got best friend tattoos.
Look, I'm not usually out of the loop here, but anyone want to tell me who the fuck this greenish dude is? Why don't his teeth fit in his mouth?
I want to go over and grab Lucian on the shoulder and say, it's good to see you again, old friend.
You have no idea, Hagrid.
Do I have any kind of suspicion that Lucian might have been Tyrannus? just by doing the math of who's all here.
I want you to roll a wisdom check. Just D20 plus your wisdom modifier.
That's an 18.
From what you remember from the dream is that nobody, they changed jobs, they changed walks in life, but no one changed races.
Okay.
So as far as you know, you have no idea who Tyrannus was.
Okay.
Seriously, who is that guy?
That's known as a half-orc in most parts of the world, just in case you were wondering.
All right then. Oi, half orc. What's your name, dude?
My name's Crispin, and actually, you're the only one that doesn't kind of look familiar. Who are you?
I kind of smirk a little bit and give an ostentatious bow. I'm Lucian.
So just to metagame for a moment, I bet you that Crispin is the half-orc from the bar that I pissed off repeatedly.
The bartender from Acre?
Yep.
Have you ever been a bartender?
No.
It's probably for the best.
I've visited quite a few, though.
At this point, Tony, in your head, there's just fond memories of the moment of you being hung up on a coat rack or trying to disassemble too many chairs, and you just hear in your head, all right, now that's enough.
Confused look on a half-orc's face when I blew a hole in the ceiling and handed him a window.
All right, now that's enough. So, the party begins to corral itself around. You begin to share details of for what everybody but Hagrid thinks is the most vivid dream they've ever had.
Was Hagrid the only one that knows that it was real?
Yeah, based off of the two-tiered save, Hagrid was the only one that beat the DC to know exactly what happened, as opposed to what it felt like.
Oh, okay. Man, guys, I had a crazy dream that instead of spending my life running, I spent my life as a slave, just fighting for other people's pleasure. That was fucked up, man. In retrospect, I'd way rather spend 100 years just running.
It's way worse than mine.
No, it can't be as bad as going from highly intelligent tinkerer to mentally challenged brute.
At this point, Irina and Aeus appear on the ledge of the hotel overlooking sort of the common area that you guys are at. And she looks over, Aeus just there, being steampunk as all get out, not saying a word, as automatons tend not to do. Irina just goes, now where the fuck have you guys been?
Best of our knowledge, right here.
You've been gone for months.
Well, I don't know about them, but I had a wondrous journey, a great adventure.
There was fellowship, there were rings involved, it was spectacular.
As you're doing this, you're looking at your hand and you're seeing the cursed ring is no longer affixed.
But the only sour taste I have in my mouth over it is this just god-awful, annoying gnome that was with us.
I'm so sorry, that's the worst of your problems.
Wait, was that an alternate timeline or this one? Because I think I'm still here.
Yeah, but you're not annoying.
I don't know. Do you really remember, Tony?
All right, guys. I have this undying urge. I need to go destroy a stool. I'll be back.
I have a sudden flash of memory, and I reach for my vial of the Night Stalker blood.
Roll a Constitution saving throw.
Not real good. Yeah, that's a 4.
Yeah, as you begin to look at it, the time had not been friendly to this blood, and it's starting to dehydrate and become more of a gel than a blood-like texture. But that doesn't stop you at all.
Do I see him drinking this sludge?
It's not so much drinking. It's like it's got the consistency of like Hershey's chocolate sauce. He keeps on just dipping his finger in and just like licking his fingers.
So he's trying to lick the pudding that remains once you've finished a pudding cup.
Yes. Pretty much.
You know, Laven, I heard that people will eat stuff kind of like that, but it's like it's more akin to honey as they do like they call it marathons when they run from city to city.
Hey,
But That looks particularly gross.
So, Irina, since we've been gone for months, what has Strahd been up to as I'm actively dismantling the stool?
Perhaps I can answer that. As you just turn around and right at the barred entrance of the Blue Water Inn, you see the gaunt, tall, lanky structure wearing a suit that he can find of just royal crimson. There's gold leaf all throughout in different patterns. He just says, "Did you not think who has entered into my realm?"
Can I walk up to him and poke him with one of the legs of the stool to make sure he's real? Luna.
And because those stools bolted into the ground, make a strength check to see if you can break the bolt.
Hold on.
Sorry, did you say that was Strahd, Jay?
That was Strahd.
Okay, you were kind of cutting out for a little bit there. I didn't hear it.
You're breaking up badly.
Sorry about that, guys. So yes, as Irina was about to answer that question, Strahd comes in, begins having like a slow, sarcastic laugh.
Oh, I caught that.
Yeah, and then said that who do you think sent you there? Who do you think was watching you? Why would this is my way of preparing myself for you.
Why did you make me a slave? What even is that? Who does that?
I needed to see how you responded to adversity.
Perverts. That's who does
Well, I'd say I rose to the challenge.
So you did. So you all did.
By the way, I rolled a 7.
You begin to try to use all of your might to lift the stool up, and once again the bolt fails you. However, one of the cross beams of the stool breaks. So you don't have the entire stool, but you do have a stability piece of the stool in your hand.
Okay, I want to poke Strahd with it to make sure he's real.
Okay. Roll a melee attack without your proficiency bonus.
Oh, good. Alright. I don't have proficiency in melee. I actually get a -1 to attack rolls.
Mm-hmm.
So that makes it a 12.
Yeah, that doesn't hit his AC.
Yeah. I'd still like to just, nonchalantly kind of poke at his cloak to see if I can find something of purchase.
Okay, make a sleight of hand check to see if you can do it quick enough without him noticing and moving out of the way.
Okay.
Ooh, he does actual poking checks. You hear that, Tony?
Yeah. 19.
As you begin to reach for the kneecap of Strahd, your hand, you thought it would hit the kneecap, and it goes straight through.
Alright guys, we're still in a dream. This doesn't matter.
At this point, everyone else who saw this, make an investigation check. Those of you not trained in investigation, just add your intelligence modifier.
Nat 20.
I got a 23.
18 -1, 17.
All right, you guys all passed. Because the DC gets set really low once you see somebody's hand go through a kneecap. This
Damn,
this
I'm really
here,
strong.
yeah, this here is a projection, and as you guys remember what you learned in Accra about vampires, it was a requirement of all vampires that they had to be invited into buildings. And you're beginning to realize that perhaps this is Strahd's way around it.
This just makes me think of him being an even bigger pervert now.
This is my plane of existence. I may do what I wish.
Well, you watched us do all kinds of nastiness in another plane. You're, showing up in people's houses. I'm leaning towards pervert here.
That may be your perception. I don't know what to tell you if that's what you think.
So what have you been up to, Strahd?
I have done my reconnaissance. I realized who has entered into my plane of existence. And just be aware of some surprises. I know you a little bit better now.
Alrighty then.
Nobody else has anything they'd like to say? At this point, Strahd begins to understand that this projection is not useful anymore and begin to see it fade away. What you didn't notice at that time was all the were-ravens on the roof of this area. They looked scared as fuck. And if it wasn't for Tony's incredulity of everything, it seemed like they would have believed that Strahd somehow just broke through the doors.
I was about to ask one of you guys who let him in here, but I guess I don't have to now.
Well.
Yeah, and also, Tony, I just had to rip up 2 whole pages based off of your instant incredulity.
Why? Was there supposed to be a lot more conversation of us trying to figure out how he got in the house instead of me poking him?
I had this giant build-up, and he just goes, no, I'm going to poke him. It's like, fuck!
He even tried to get you to stop.
Yep.
Thanks, Tony, because I didn't want to listen to it anyway.
Hey, does anyone, wait, how long, Irina, how long have we been, out of it?
That'd be an answer that you can answer, basically, is how long did Hoard of the Dragon Queen take?
Was probably about 3.5 months. So.
Approaching 4 months, then.
Okay. That's,
do we
that's
notice
several.
we feel any different now? Maybe an increase in something?
A what? Something?
Think we're looking for a little experience here or there.
Oh no, I think Haggard, are you asking about the level up from way back?
Yes.
You do, actually. Yes. Yeah. So, for those of you who are not aware, based off of that last session and the milestone of delivering Irina, you should have leveled up to level 7 4 months ago.
Yeah, I'm still 6.
Yeah.
Perfect. I'm 7, except for I got 2 more spells to add at some point.
I will prepare that.
So my apologies on not being prepared with that and then forgetting for months to tell you guys that.
I think I mentioned it right when we were starting to make the new characters for Hoard of the Dragon Queen.
I think you did as
Yeah,
well.
I think it's just been, 3 months
Yeah.
or so.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, Hagrid, your Goliath muscles feel a little bit more rippled now from all the gains.
So kind of absent-mindedly rubbing at this tattoo, do I notice anything about it?
Yes, you realize that there's an arcane nature of this tattoo. Enough time has gone on where you have attuned to it, and it gives you an action surge that you can use once every 24 hours. The important part with this action surge is it still treats sneak attack using the same rules. It's based off of your first hit of the round, not based off of the first hit of your action surge.
Okay, so if I hit something with a sneak attack with my typical actions and then use the action surge, I don't get another sneak attack, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Could you go over mine again, Jay? I got down that I can use it once in 24 hours, and it's up to 2nd level.
It is always 2nd level.
Always 2nd level.
Yes. That way it's the strongest that a bonus action can allow if it's based off of your bonus action attack. And as I refine this, in order to make sure that the language works, I intentionally did not decide what kind of smite.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can use any sort of paladin smite that you had in Hoard of the Dragon Queen.
So like Thunder Smite, Divine Smite.
Correct.
Cool.
Blinding, branding. Okay. Awesome.
Just smite it up.
Mm-hmm.
Make them smote.
Yeah.
Smoted?
That should be a very good addition to the tank that Haggard already is.
I figured you'd enjoy it. At this point, Lucian and Hagrid realize the arcane nature of their tattoos. For the sake of keeping the narrative concise so we can get more done, as you guys begin to look, Leovan, your doppelganger, as you study the arcane nature of this, it allows you to beast shape as if you were a Circle of the Moon druid.
Nice.
Once per day. The one thing that we'll change based off of the way that the book is written is that it still has to be a beast, but the CR cap does not exist.
Ooh.
So if you wanted to change yourself into a Tyrannosaurus Rex or a Triceratops, this is acceptable.
That's pretty sweet. That's pretty sweet. I like that.
Was that? Did I hear an ooh or a boo?
I said, ooh. That's pretty sweet.
Tony, based off of your bear and its arcane nature, you sit there and the ability granted to you is that as a reaction, once per encounter on this one, is with the exception of psychic damage, you can half any single source of damage. If this damage is already halved by a successful saving throw, it is halved again. So you take a quarter damage.
Okay. So once per encounter, half damage, except psychic. If already halved, half again.
Yes. This would be an ability similar to the Totem of the Bear at 3rd level.
Alright.
Crispin, on yours, with its twin daggers, this will grant you, once per encounter, sneak attack damage on your first hit when all normal sneak attack rules apply.
So, sorry, one more time?
So, your double daggers,
Yep.
its arcane tattoo grants you the ability to perform a sneak attack.
Yep.
Similar, half of your bard level. All the conditions for sneak attack have to exist. And that is a once per encounter ability.
Okay.
Yep. So to determine how many dice you go, it is your bard level divided by 2, and that will be on the rogue table.
Okay.
Yep.
So that's 2d6 right now then?
Yep.
Okay.
Everybody now knows what their arcane tattoo grants.
Awesome.
Okay.
Little multi-class.
Yep. So, one of the things that I need to do is make sure that I have the locations of all the Strahd's items are in, and that's in my journal. If you guys don't mind taking 3 minutes of dead air, so I make sure that I'm giving you guys the correct run-up, because it has been months since we last played Curse of Strahd. Is that acceptable?
That's fair, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Sure, it's all right.
I can fill the air with some acknowledgements.
Speaking of acknowledge, first I want to do is acknowledge the stellar job that Corey did as DM, stepping in, allowing us to continue on with this weekly ritual that has become not just enjoyable, but necessary for peace of mind on occasion. And,
Absolutely. Yeah.
congratulate him on the awesome DM job that he did.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, thanks, guys. I'm glad that you enjoyed it. I hope that the ending didn't feel too sort of like the ending in the book kind of had a bit of a lack of payoff in my mind. So I tried to spice it up a bit. Really, the whole ending that was written by the writers was essentially just a very sour tasting cliffhanger leading into Rise of Tiamat. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the module. I'm looking forward to Rise of Tiamat. Likely pick that up next August when Jay again has fall sports absorbing his life.
Yes, thank you so much, Corey, for taking over with all that. That was stellar. I'm glad I got to be around as much as I could.
Mm-hmm.
That was. I'm glad that we've made this group as solid as it has.
Definitely, yeah. I'm very excited to be back to being a player with you guys and getting up to our usual shenanigans. I wanna give a shout out for doing all of the maps for the first 7 chapters of the book. You did a great job. Your maps got better and better every single chapter, every single map, every single layer. I could not really. I don't think that this would have been as big of a success as it was without you.
Oh, well, thank you. And just so everybody knows, we're still going to be doing that. We're just working backwards to forwards with Jay to get maps built for this. So they will be showing up eventually, hopefully sooner than later.
Yes, and come on, where the fuck did I put my notes? Why do I have so many different D&D binders?
Whoever had the idea for the tattoos, that's pretty cool. I like it.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's all Jay. Yeah.
But, I mean, really, everybody played a big part in making this game what it is now. From flexible and availabilities to, putting in the effort to develop their characters into what they are, fleshing out backstories, making the personalities, working together to make a cohesive unit. So, I mean, we're all, in a sense, small parts in a much bigger thing that Corey and Jay made for us. So.
And first off, as much as the particular tattoos are a great idea, Corey is actually the creator of this. Is he just kind of wanted to sit there and say something where it's like, man, I would have loved if we couldn't get levels out of all this, just something to reward us for getting through it, and that's kind of what we came up with.
That's pretty awesome on your guys' part. So thank you.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. What I needed. So.
Do you want to, sorry Jay, really quick, do you want to switch Roll20 games over to yours?
Not at the moment, because if we need to, I'll need to drop the entire map right now.
Okay.
Because with this being as open worldy and sandboxy as possible, I haven't prepared any maps at all, because I have no idea where you guys are going to go.
Okay.
So if it comes down to there's a battle, I'm going to, we're going to have to give me time to set up anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll end up taking a 5-10 minute break so I can set up the battle.
We could use this, next half hour or so, whatever, till we decide to call it, and flesh out with Irina how the landscape has changed since we've last been here, because Strahd obviously hasn't been doing nothing, so it would make the most sense to sit down with the, Ravens group and Irina and flesh out with them how the landscape has changed since we have been gone.
This is true. So the one thing I wanted to do is make sure that we had the first chapters of the story fully fleshed out. Just to remind you guys, with the help of, once again, an obnoxious bard, they tend to really be that way, don't they, guys? But this one was not a gnome. It was just more like, think Dandelion from The Witcher 3. Created a portal to bring you into Barovia to tear out the vampiric infestation from Acre at its roots.
So I have a thought. How about we make this in a, late night drinking session of, hey, Crispin's new to the group, let's fill him in on as we remember the story. And
absolutely, that's a great idea. If you guys want to sit there and tell Crispin the story, and then if you guys get details less than right, I'll come in and I'll revise.
So that gives you, Jay, the opportunity to brush up on everything, us to, see what we remember, what we forgot, and it, incorporates Crispin great into the story, in my opinion.
I'm totally fine with that, because I have way more details in my notes than needed, so if we can get everything out, and I don't waste our times with unnecessary details, or you guys stop listening, perfect. I can agree to that.
And then we could also do the introductions of our characters in this world to Crispin, because he hasn't had the opportunity to truly meet and greet the obnoxiousness that is this world.
This is
Yes.
totally fine with me.
And I am just now printing out my character sheet, so that's how on top of the ball I am.
All right. Well, as far as character introductions go, I'll get it kicked off. My character's name is Lucian. I am a half-elf rogue assassin. My specialty is lying and threatening people with my Goliath. Sometimes to great benefit.
I punched a
What's that?
I punched a guy.
You did.
This is the first time we learned don't steal in this campaign.
Twice you punched a guy
Do not
because
touch
he was
Megan's
still
stuff.
on it.
But yeah, so that's me. The party just found out right before we left for the Sword Coast that I am at least 100 years old.
Oh, damn.
I also have an alter ego that has like paperworks and connections and all that stuff named Josephus Miller. He is a detective, and I use him when I need to.
Cops.
Do
Yeah,
I know
like-
that? Are you sharing this willingly with Crispin? Or is this just
It'd be
Right,
too
so I
soon
know.
for that.
right?
Yeah.
Just making sure.
As far as what Crispin knows about me, my name's
Yeah.
Lucian. I'm a half elf. I don't look like a little kid.
Okay, you look good for your age, though.
All right. I'll take up the mantle next. So, Crispin, again, I am Tony Pobar, but in this world, I happen to be an artificer and a tinkerer, which means I have a wonderful habit of making steampunky devices to aid us in combat, as you can see from the giant mechanical eagle that is actively with us in the room, whose name is Aeus, which is automaton eagle something substitute. Yep.
Substitute.
At this point,
Don't forget to mention your pocket wash flashbang grenades that always go off in your face.
Oh, don't worry, I'm not done yet. So,
At
being a
this point,
tinker,
it just has his wings come up and gives a small salute and then back down.
so being a tinkerer and making small clockwork devices, I have a habit of making explosives. Speaking of which, I blew up an embassy at one point with these guys as help to try and stop vampires. So that's another story. But my flashbang grenades tend to be less than beneficial to myself. I have a habit of flashbanging myself. In this world, I ended up getting hooked up with these guys because I accidentally blew up something like 17.3% of the Gnome Knowledge Depository while attempting to, discover some new magical elements. And, well, they kind of kicked me out, and I've been wandering around ever since and ran into these guys in Accra. And we ended up here.
All right, Laven, Hagrid, who would like to describe their character next?
All right, I guess I'll go. I am still Hagrid. I am still a Goliath, but I am now a cleric acolyte, and I basically just Hulk smash on stuff.
And don't steal from him. He'll punch you in the face and then still hold on to his medallion and punch you again.
Yeah,
Sure that
I am
I
awful good, and I do consider theft, especially theft against me, to be bad.
Okay.
I seem to remember something in a different world that also happened very similarly to something that happened to my cleric. I did have to make atonement. It's very
There's
happy, but,
this is before I realized that lawful good did not necessarily mean lawful nice.
even though there's nothing lawful about theft. That's okay. That's I am what I am, and that's all what I am. To quote Popeye the Sailor, and my cleric character is not much different than my paladin, unfortunately.
Then, in order to help me out just as much as everybody else, you're connected to the god Demeter,
Correct.
which is a god of justice, and mostly in particular is how in your mind, does your God view justice? Is it kind of a black and white line, and it doesn't matter how the law is broken? If it's broken, that's the problem, or does it kind of look to be more insightful and try to look at the motive, or is it basically everything is black and white?
I would have to apologize for not remembering what my tenets are with this character, as I was trying very closely to remember them.
If you want to write on it, that's fine.
All I know is I am a student of Demeter, as Jay had said, and Thesmophoros is actually the deity that the version of the deity that I pledged my life to, and she is known as the lawbringer and protector of life. But I am not opposed to eliminating evil life.
Perfect. Okay, thank you for that. Because that helps me out more than anybody else. Leovan, your turn.
Leovan. Again, still pretty similar to who I was in the last place. I'm a Wood Elf Ranger. I don't talk too much about my life before I met these guys, but I had kind of a sheltered upbringing. I am generally like slow to trust other people.
Okay.
And I'm sort of not necessarily open all the time, but honest when I do speak. So I have some discomfort with deception, although I go along with it because we have to do that a lot. And somehow I still find Lucian to be really trustworthy, despite like his thing is lying.
Interesting dynamic.
And I have this thing about blood. Because we were following this one creature once, and it left some blood behind, and I just licked it to kind of see, what is this?
No.
And it was delicious.
Oh God, that sort of thing.
So I bottled up some of it, and that's what I was, trying to eat earlier, or drink.
Oh,
so I have that going on. And I am easily manipulated by women or shapeshifters who I don't realize aren't really women. So that has come up before.
Oh yeah.
Sorry. And what is your class? Sorry.
Ranger.
Ranger. Alrighty.
He's kind of quiet, but he's good people.
Finally, Crispin, would you like to share who you are in this?
Yes, I actually apparently wrote a backstory and saved it in D&D Beyond, so this makes it easy. If you bear with me. Crispin's mother was a traveling bard who was raped while on the road by an orc chief, which resulted in his horrendous birth. Following his birth, his mother was shunned for having a monstrosity as a son. Though she loved him with all his heart and refused to give him up, she was, kind of kicked out of society. So with nowhere to go and no one else to perform to, she raised her son on the outskirts of town and then performed to him and taught him the power of her songs. And then, though he knew he was loved, he could also feel the sadness in his mother's song, knowing that she longed to be accepted by the world. And one day she got sick and died, and as she was dying, she said, "You were born with a song in your heart, and songs are meant to be shared. Go and share yours." Now he travels town to town, performing for whomever will accept him, and trying hard to shake the preconceived notions that people might have about his orcish type. He still hasn't forgotten about his horrendous beginnings and how his mother's promising future was stolen from her. So he's always looking for kind of trash to be cleaned up on his travels, and he especially hates other orcs. Even though he's trying to shake his preconceived notions about him being an orc,
Lay down then.
he has his own prejudice against his own people.
This sounds so much more wholesome than my chaotic neutral.
And then, because he was raised an outcast, he just longs to be socially accepted, and since he's normally treated horribly, he just feels immense loyalty to anyone who just shows him a little bit of respect. And that's more or less who Crispin is in this world.
Very cool. And then
Nice.
the rest of the party. Where are we at? Like, what have we done so far in Barovia?
What were you saying, Hagrid? You sounded like you were going to say something.
Oh, no, I was just telling Crispin that it was well written.
It was.
Yeah.
Like
Why,
the
thank you.
dichotomy he's got going there.
I vaguely remembered it from when he sent it to me back. It's like back in like July, I think.
Yeah, it was quite a pleasant surprise when it loaded up for me.
Yeah. So as far as our adventures to thus far have been, we essentially met Hagrid along with one of those sleeping gnomes in that room back there. We met them when a Hydra attacked Acre, which is a city that we've been operating out of mostly. We wound up actually interfering with a contract to kill said Hydra and had to work it off. We fought.
That group that we ran into, I don't remember.
Was it the Wild Hunt?
Yep.
DM?
The Bloody Hunt.
Bloody Hunt.
Bloody Hunt,
Right.
that's right.
I couldn't remember if it was like it was in The Witcher or if it was another thing. But yeah, so the Bloody Hunt. We wound up fighting a Rakshasa for them, which we used a dowsing rod that our DM so graciously invented for us that allowed us to find evil, which led us to a bank of all places, of course. And there the trail went a little bit cold because obviously banks are filled with terrible people.
Right.
So
What?
we found this Rakshasa, we fought it and killed it, brought our trophy back to the Bloody Hunt, and found out that they, along with the Zentarim, who we had been working for previously, had basically gotten together on a contract to send us here to Barovia to take out Strahd. Actually, his head is the trophy we're after. We got here and realized that fog here doesn't feel so good.
You
It
left
kinda
out such an important part.
What, the embassy?
The embassy.
Well, yeah. I mean, I wasn't gonna go like all the way into all of our adventures since the
That was-
beginning of
well,
time, but
part of it,
before Barovia.
the reason we got contracted to go kill Strahd
Oh.
was because the Barovian embassy was kidnapping people, sending them to Barovia to be used for food for the vampires in Barovia.
Point of order, it was homeless people.
And criminals.
Oh,
Yes.
Are you suggesting they are like normal people, Jay?
I'm not suggesting anything. That's what they were suggesting.
they're lesser
So-
humans.
In, deciding how to deal with this portal in the Barovian embassy in Acre, we came across a mine agent who sold massive quantities of gunpowder. We ended up sneaking into the embassy with massive amounts of gunpowder and blew the whole thing to shit.
But you didn't hear that from
Nice.
us because he's kind of under investigation by the Lords Alliance right now, and he doesn't know us.
They gave him siege ability that day.
Needless to say, the explosion was larger than expected.
yeah, that was a pretty big yada yada yada.
Sorry.
Plausible
So,
deniability.
the vampire who was in charge in Barovia was Strahd's second in command. Instead of fighting him like good little adventurers do, I convinced him that I was sent from Barovia by Strahd, that he was summoned back to Barovia because Strahd was mad about about some instability issues with the portal that was there. So then we wound up drugging a bunch of vampires, setting off these bombs and running out of the building, intending to blow up the wall and kind of cave in like the door area so people could get to it. And instead we essentially leveled the embassy.
Nice. Very nice.
But again, you didn't hear any of that from us.
Right. But yeah, kind of looping back around, when we got to Barovia, we learned that outside of the cities, there's like this fog at least in parts of the forest, that saps your energy.
Unless you're Tony Pobar, you're surprisingly immune to it.
Yeah, Tony, he's very constitutional. We learned that Strahd really wanted that Irina girl over there. Actually, I don't remember why he wants Irina so badly. But anyway, we were beseeched to bring her here to Vallaki.
Being turned.
What was that?
Isn't she in the process of being turned also?
Oh, yeah, she is.
She's been bit once, and it's, so the
She's
process
twice
has started. But there needs to be another couple of bites in order to have the full conversion take place. The reason why it's Irina is he believes that she shares a very particular soul that matters to him. But you don't know that.
Let's see. We converted. We learned that you can convert vampires back to people if you kill them and then revive them immediately.
In a holy place with holiness.
Hagrid can stop people from being vampires if we can kill them first.
Also,
It's
the
not
fact
foolproof.
It's not.
It doesn't sound like it would be.
Strahd also has control of the werewolves in this world, and they were sent to attack us before we made it to this town.
Yeah.
Or no,
I
the
got
main
sick.
city.
They got me sick.
Oh yeah, yeah. Hagrid fixed that too. It's
That was a
pretty.
big fight.
He's really handy.
Hagrid's kind of like our Swiss Army knife here.
Yeah, as long as you want the thing dead, Haggard's got a tool for that.
Yep.
Or undead.
Right.
Yeah.
That thing should be dead.
Yeah, we got Irina here to Vallaki. We met some Vistiani along the way, some gypsies.
This is a good story too.
This is so. So the first half is informational. The second half is just awesome. But where are my notes on our fortunes? Oh yeah,
For you.
yeah.
So there are three sort of artifacts that were read in this tarot card reading from Madame Eva. Madame Eva being the head of the Vistiani in this traveling encampment. It lets you know that there's a card that tells of history. Knowledge of your ancient enemy will help you understand him better. And it was to look for a wealthy woman, a staunch ally of the devil. She keeps the treasure under lock and key with the bones of an ancient enemy, was what the card revealed.
Okay.
So if you want to write down just 9 of glyphs, if you want to ask me about that, that'll help me find the notes faster.
Okay, got it.
The next one was a symbol that is a powerful force for good and protection, and it is a holy symbol of great hope. And she saw that for the reading in a dead village drowned by a river, ruled by one who has brought great evil into this world. That was 9 of stars.
9 of stars.
The last artifact was a card of power and strength that tells of a weapon of vengeance, a sword forged by sunlight. This one lies in the womb of darkness, the devil's lair, the one place that he must return. You can write down Master of Swords for that.
Master of Swords. Is this from like a fortune teller?
Yeah, it's like a tarot
Yeah,
card.
from
kind
a
of
tarot
thing.
reader.
Okay.
The next card that was revealed was of someone who is actively resisting against Strahd and trying to bring him down. This card sheds a light on one who will help you greatly in the battle against the Reign of Darkness. This one is Avistiana, wanders this land alone, searching for her mentor. She does not stay in one place for long. Seek her out at St. Markovia's Abbey, near the Mist. And the card itself was called Mists.
Mists. Okay.
The last one, your enemy is a creature of darkness, whose powers are beyond mortality. This card will lead you to him. He lurks in the Hall of Bones in the dark pits of the castle. The card is called Donjon. Spelled differently than dungeon, but that's what they mean.
Got it. Dungeon.
So, yeah. So write down the notes there. I know it's a lot of information. So if you guys just want a revamp of the specific wording, let me know the card, and I'll just read it to you again. Because I think that'll be the easiest way to
Yeah, so after we got that fortune, we were offered a place to stay with the Vistiani for the
And
evening.
booze.
So, yes, so we did. We stayed with them, and then when we woke up, some of us were missing some things. Hagrid, why don't you tell that story?
We woke up and some of us realized we were missing things, and I was not among those who realized that because all we were missing were items, something that a normal person would steal, money, jewels, blah blah blah. I didn't have any, didn't care much for it. So some of the party had realized this and had gone to confront some of the gypsies, and it was pointed out to me that one of them was wearing what turned out to be my holy symbol. So it's obviously the one thing I need, it's the one thing that my power is derived from, and I got so mad, both characterly and physically. I believe I even had the murder shakes after the encounter was done because I was so mad.
Just to let you know, I have not gone to the Lesniak household since that day.
I walked up to the person wearing my holy symbol and grabbed the chain holding it around his neck, and without even asking questions or listening to rhetoric, commentary, whatever you want to call it, I punched him square in the nose.
There's now a Goliath-sized fist that is now where his nose was.
And then proceeded to
Very
ask
nice.
if Hagrid had it back yet, and Jay said he's still holding it. Punched him again.
Oh.
It was awesome.
It was a lot more enjoyable, apparently, to the rest of the party that was actually there listening to it. All I
That's
know,
what your character would have done, and it was a good story, but it was very, very frustrating.
it was, yeah.
Beyond frustrating. I think frustrating undersells it.
Murder Shake sells it accurately.
Yeah. All right. So after we left the Vistiani camp with a little bit of haste, we rode for Vallaki and were attacked by some werewolves and some wolves, where we were barred outside of the city gates of Vallaki until they were gone. So we fought off the wolves and werewolves. Laven.
Too.
What's that?
That was a hell of a battle too.
It was, yeah. Laven got bit by a werewolf and had to get cured by Hagrid. We learned
horribly obnoxious gate guards there, and some punk-ass kid who could barely open the gate.
Oh, Jordan.
Hey, come on, Dale and Tucker, they were all right.
All they did was berate the little kid.
Tucker was the one who couldn't get the gate open. I just named the other one Dale.
Name stuck.
So in Barovia we met what's his name? Hang on. His name is Erwin Martikov, who is part of the Order of the Were-Raven, which their numbers are around 12, and we actually did send them on a recon mission. Because after something happened, or after Strahd confronted us with Brahm, who was his second in command that I had tricked into leaving Acre.
And whose embassy we blew up.
Yes. I'm not sure what the message Strahd was trying to send was, but I was like, all right, will you just execute the guy already? So he did.
Okay.
The details on this is Strahd came up and was trying to make friends of the party and seeing if he could willingly or have them willingly follow him. And in order to show his goodwill, he was going to give them the chance to execute Brahm. The party was not interested in this deal, realized that the contract given to them was more lucrative than living in a demi-plane their entire lives. And so told Strahd they weren't interested. At this point, Strahd then executed the weakness from his herd.
Yes.
Let's see here.
After that, we met Rictavio, a half-elf bard, who turned out to be named Van Ricken, who was actually a vampire hunter.
Well, that was after some deductive work on all of our parts of going, he's a dude, so this Van Ricket guy had what would appear to be a circus in one of the most bleakest, darkest shithole of a place you'd ever want to be, with nobody around it and nothing set up, and tried to claim that he was there performing with a tiger locked in a box. That was it. That's all the fucker had.
Very perceptive.
So basically we called him on his bullshit, and he's like, fine, you got me, and then continue, Corey.
We found out that he has a student who may also be... he was headed for St. Markovius in Krachik. So we have a couple reasons to head towards that area. We also learned about the Argonavosthalt Abbey, which was a stronghold for the Order of the Silver Dragon. And so we wanted to check that out.
No
and we also... What's that?
No relation to Tiamat.
Or Bahamut, the Platinum Dragon. And then, okay, yeah, so we went to a temple, a church, and tried to get some items blessed, and the priest there was not able to bless all of our items because someone stole the bones of the deity there, St. Andrew's.
Mm-hmm. So we asked him where we could acquire some other weapons, and he pointed us in the direction of the artisans' quarter of the city.
The Fletcher does owe us a pair of hand crossbows, I believe.
And it's been a few months.
It's probably done for them.
Well,
X-Head.
Remember how good his quality is going to be because of traumatic brain injury?
Yeah, that's true. Hagrid, the axe head is actually an Acre.
Oh.
So, on the subject of that traumatic brain injury, so we went to talk to the blacksmith to try and get some silver for the Fletcher who was being difficult, saying, I don't have any silver. You can talk to the blacksmith, but I'm not talking to him because he's a douchebag. So apparently they have some kind of, romantic tryst or something. I don't fucking know. They just hate each other. And so I said, fuck it. Went and talked to the blacksmith and said, I need silver ingots. And didn't give a flying fuck about the price because the Fletcher had pissed me off. And so the blacksmith said he was fucking with me, gave me a decent price for them. Proceeded to take the ingots and whip them at the Fletcher's head, nailing him in the head.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah. I wasn't tolerating his bullshit that day. But at this point, since it's been a few months, he should have those nice enchanted silvery hand crossbows for you.
For somebody.
Yep.
Those were initially for Berlin.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, they're made. They're paid for.
That's true, yeah. We got a bag of holding.
We have a ranger.
Yeah, they might as well use them.
Oh yeah, by the way, we do have a bag of holding because Tony Pobar has made one.
Mm-hmm.
It works better than his flashbangs.
Yep. And that tends to be where Aeus resides when not in use.
All right, that is a very accurate portrayal of events. So where you guys are is the Blue Water Inn. It's the home to the Were Ravens. Rictavo, who is actually Van Ricken, is a vampire hunter who came in, is getting up there in years as far as half elves go, and physically he can't do some of the things you thought he used to be able to. So he's here training a student. This student is who you believe one of the tarot cards is about, and believe that St. Markovia's Abbey was the last known whereabouts of this person.
And from my understanding, DM Kraychik is about a 1 to 2 day ride from Vallaki.
I believe that's what I said. Is that it's 1 to 2 days in total.
And then we also learned of Baba Lysaga, Strahd's midwife.
Yes. Baba Lysaga was the midwife of Strahd and saw herself more of a parent than either of Strahd's natural parents. And that sort of possessive love of Strahd twisted her physically, mentally, and powerfully. As far as, I believe that's what you're aware of at this time.
Mm-hmm.
And
I think
at the name of Baba Lysaga.
So yeah, we think there's a connection with Van Ricken and our potential ally at St. Markovia's Abbey. I believe there to be a connection between Baba Lysaga and the Dead Drowned Village for the symbol of hope. Was it the Trader card? The Conjurer card? I don't know. I have two things written there for some reason.
The Trader card, I believe. Yeah.
Okay.
Let me make sure I have that right.
That's pretty much.
And then if I remember correctly, so there's like a road out of Trader card. Okay.
No. You are Conjurer is where you have the Drowned Village.
Okay.
And the Trader is where you have the staunch ally of the devil, keeps the treasure under lock and key.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Okay.
I'm going to draw an arrow here because that's important distinctions. Okay. If I remember correctly from the map, Argonavostholt Abbey is sort of between the road that goes from Vallaki to Kraychik and where we believe the Drowned Village to be, as we learned from Van Ricken. The Abbey is sort of halfway between the village and the road, I think.
Yes, so depending on what map you have, Q is Argonavostholt. Mm-hmm. You are currently at N, and Kraychik is S.
Yes. And Q is on the way to U, right? U is after Q, along that same trail, along the river there.
I think we have that all right.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, I'd have to listen to the first few sessions, but I think that's all correct.
All right. So that's where we're at. Why don't we collect those hand crossbows?
Okay. As you come back, and forgive me because I don't remember the names of all these places, so as you go back to the Fletcher and Blacksmith, you're able to get all those materials back that you've already paid for. The hand crossbows have a silver inlay for like all the mechanical pieces, enough for it to be a silver trait. The crossbow bolts themselves are all silver tipped, so they will have the non-magical abilities, but silvered abilities.
Okay.
For the sake of hits and damage, we can treat them as if they were +1, since these were special order and made from very specific materials. So
right.
2 hand crossbows +1. They're dex weapons, 1d6 base damage, plus your dexterity modifier. And then they're silvered, so they'll do double damage to undead creatures.
Did anybody get that written down?
No. Who's getting them?
So these were ordered by Berlin originally. However, with Berlin not currently in the party, because they were bought, ordered, paid for, whoever would like them would be able to take them, and they do not have to go to the same person.
And crossbows.
And you said it was 1d6 damage, and that's double
That's
towards
not.
undead. Right.
It's a +1 as well, so it does have the rules of a +1 weapon.
In worst case scenario, I can put him in the bag of holding.
I have a proficiency in hand crossbows and no ranged weapon if no one wants one.
Do you have
Yeah.
a need for both?
I have a need for one. I'll take both if no one wants either, because I don't have much on me at this point.
Okay. I can always take the other one from you if we need to.
So if you guys want, there are 50 crossbow bolts in total. You can divvy those up as much as you want. Mark off that those are silver tipped.
And
And
let's
then,
see. Oh yeah, Crispin, just so you know, vampires have a resistance to electricity, so lightning.
Ooh, I do have something.
and a weakness to running water.
And wooden stakes.
That's true.
And resistance to understanding jokes.
So, as it stands right now, in the bag of holding, we have a battering ram, 5 holy water skins, 39 wooden rods, a tower shield, and a light crossbow.
Okay. Well, we have those 50 silver bolts. Who wants some?
I'd say split them between you two.
Yeah, these are specifically sized to work in hand crossbows.
Okay.
I can't really use them then. So
Yeah, why
that's for
don't you just
stabbing.
hold on to all of them, and then if we need to give one of the crossbows to Laven, then you guys can split up what's left of the bolts at that point.
Perfect. Then I'm going to put one of the silver hand crossbows in the bag of holding just to separate the goods.
Alright. +1. Silver hand crossbow. How much does that weigh?
Whatever it says in the player's handbook is based off his weight. It's going to be standard weight. It's just made better because it was a custom order and with refined materials.
I'll grab that number for you, Tony. Crossbow hand, 3 pounds.
3 pounds, okay.
Alrighty. So what do you guys think? Bones of St. Andrews or Krachik?
What was in Krachik? I'm sorry, I guess.
St. Markovius Abbey.
And that's a day away.
It's a 1 to 2 day ride. I think it's 1 day if we really push it, 2 days if we allow the horses to live.
And where's the other?
The Bones of St. Andrews is going to be an investigative thing for us.
Like, is that far away?
The church is here in town. I don't know where the bones
that
are.
you sent out the were-ravens is to figure out if there's anything that could lead to a trail that would get you there.
Oh, so we don't really know where it is yet.
I mean, 4 months ago you didn't know where it was at. They've had essentially 4 months to do as much recon as 4 months would allow.
Okay. So let's
I would
let's
imagine
find-
they found some stuff out.
find the were-ravens and talk to them and see what they know while we're here, because why go a day away and have to find these guys again?
Okay, let's go back to the Blue Water Inn then and talk to Erwin.
All right, you are currently at the Blue Water Inn. It was a very short walk from the Fletcher's over. You come back in, the door gets shut. People are still a little jumpy over Strahd. They bar the door once you guys get inside. And there is the head of the were-ravens sitting in front of you currently in its humanoid form.
Oh, so I do see Erwin.
You do see Erwin. Erwin is
Is
there.
he behind the bar?
He is.
All right.
He's back doing leader of the were-raven things.
All right. Can I give him a silver piece for a drink for Crispin and find out what the orders learned in our absence?
Absolutely. As he takes the silver piece, he gives you a cup of their fancier wine that they make themselves. It seems like this is sort of the front that they used. The wine itself isn't amazing, but compared to how every other beverage here looks, with it being of a consistent viscosity, there's no lumps in it. It doesn't look spoiled. This is about as good as you could ask for.
Nice. I
And
think.
I get Baba Saga.
Cheers, Crispin. Welcome to the group.
Why, thank you. I give him a big old smile. And Christian feels all warm and fuzzy inside.
Do I know that he's smiling, or does it look like he's snarling?
It looks awkward, but it's more likely to be a smile.
Perfect. Sorry, Crispin. The only other half-orc I've met, well, usually he had a Tony to deal with, so he was never in a good mood.
Who? What? I just missed that.
I was just talking about how the only other half-orc I've known, other than Crispin over here now, is the bartender from back in the brine. Was it the Briny Anchor?
Yep, the Briny Anchor, where this
Yeah.
all started.
Yes, good old Briny Anchor.
Yeah.
I'm glad I remembered that because I actually don't have that written down.
Yeah. So, as the leader of the Were Ravens hands over the drink, he sits there and comes up to you and is like, "You guys have been away for a while. Gave me a lot of time to figure out what I needed to find out." He sits, looks around, making sure that it's all trusted Ravens around him. He goes, "We were able to find the path of the bones. Apparently, they were stolen 2 days after you left. They've moved into the village of Berez. The village itself is not in the greatest shape. Then again, we're a pretty meager-looking town, and we're in the best shape out of everywhere in the land. So I don't think that should tell you too much, but there's an individual who took those bones and buried them down, Baba Lasak.
Baba Lasaga.
Yep. This is someone who just a pure desire was able to twist themselves, becoming disturbingly powerful. I'm not a big fan of what's going on here, so just be aware. There's a lot to deal with there, but if you want to make sure that you can get your weapons blessed, Berez is where you need to go."
All right, Erwin. Appreciate it. What else did you guys find out? Anything else about like Strahd's movements or anything like that? I know we've been gone for a while.
Strahd himself is sticking around the castle, sending projections out just to search on what kind of shit you guys have riled up. It's making it harder for our Were Ravens to move, but with us being small, staying in recon numbers, we've been able to make do. What you just need to know here is that he's getting the werewolves riled up. He's trying to do anything he can to test out the resistance. We've lost a few good men along the way, but it looks like he's actually taking you guys seriously. I've never seen him put other adventurers in through a simulation before just to figure out what he was dealing with. So I think he understands sometimes that this is different. He's not this cautious usually.
All right, Erwin. Thanks to you and your men for all your hard work. Hey, guys, I know that probably sending them out for more recon is asking a lot of them at this point, but is there anything else we need them to look into?
At this point, Erwin begins to, puts his hand on your shoulder and goes, "Look, you're our best chance of getting out of this. So what I can offer you is the recon. I agree. That's going to be put in us areas that we can't, but that really help you out in. But if you are ever in a pinch and we're there to intervene, trust that we'll be there to help you guys out." We need you guys alive in order to have us stand a chance of existing.
Well, hopefully we can live up to those expectations.
Hopefully, you're still alive.
All right, I don't know about you guys, but we should try to kill some shit.
With that being the case, for the sake of narrative, I'm going to assume that you guys are going to head out. If throughout the week you guys decide where you want to go, we can start at first light, go heading towards that. So that way we can have enough time to get maps drawn. We can get enough time to get a battle laid out so it's not a slapdash. So we would be ending about 35 minutes early, and I must apologize for that. But if we started a battle right now, there's no way that we'd be able to get it done anytime soon, because what I had planned is going to take a good amount of time to resolve.
Big one. All right.
Yeah, so that being said, if everybody's okay with us ending early, I think we got a great amount of story done, and that will give everybody a week to think about how they want to play their characters in battle, because I'll tell you right now, it's not going to be the most dangerous battle in your time in Barovia, but it is going to be one that tests you guys.
Sounds good to me. And that's the problem with me causing Jay to rip up 2 pages of notes.
No. This is planned
There
the
go
entire
35
time.
minutes.
You got
Basically.
all this flavor text that you got rid of, so it was no important points. In the end, it was just basically different ways for Strahd to fuck with you guys.
Never underestimate the power of a suspicious gnome.
Never underestimate the power of a player character, where you come up with solutions, and they pick N+1.
Yeah, true. Poke with stick. That's the +1.
Yeah. So.
Well, maybe before we finish up, guys, do we want to have a discussion about, where we want to go? Do we want to go to Kraychik and St. Markovia's Abbey, or do we want to head towards Berez and the bones of St. Andrews?
I think it would be more beneficial to head towards the Abbey to give ourselves an ally, because at least that way, if we're going for the bones and shit gets hairy, we'll have an extra set of pointy objects with us.
Yeah. Not a bad idea.
And that, the Were Ravens would agree with that summary. Is that they think that Kraychik would be a much wiser first choice than Berez.
Yeah. Okay.
But that being said, I also tend to sit more near the back of battles than in the front of them, so.
It's one more person to be in front of you then.
True. But let's see here. I got level 2 spells for leveling up, and I chose Enhance Ability and Levitate, so we'll see what happens with those.
By the way, Tony, for yours is if you spend 50 gold per spell level, you can infuse a spell into an item and hand that off to yourself or another player character. Activating the item activates the spell.
That cost 50 gold. I didn't think it did.
50 gold per spell level. It's essentially the cost of it infusing. And if you ritual cast it, I can sit there and say it would be a much less expensive process, and we'll have to talk about that in particular. Then the other thing with that is the way I want to deviate from the rules is you can have as many items active as your intelligence modifier.
Okay. So we're
I
basically...
believe the rules say that you get 1 at a time. I think
up
you
to
should
4.
Yeah, I think up to 4 is more reasonable.
Yeah, so Superior Attunement, 5th level, attune 4 items, and then, where'd it go? I lost it. Infuse Magic, 4th level, Artificer spell into an object, 1 action. Yeah, basically exactly what you just said. I can stick a spell into whatever I want, but it doesn't have the cost added to it.
Okay, then we're going to take away the cost entirely, because it was another iteration of the Artificer that had the money per spell.
I mean,
And The only way we'll change that, though, is if there's a component cost. So if it's Hero's Feast, you will have to spend 1,000 gold in order to have the cost of materials.
Yeah, that's fine. Which
Yeah, if
makes
it's
perfect
Revivify,
sense.
that's 300 gold. But anything that doesn't have a money component doesn't matter.
Yeah, works for me. Like I said, I don't really get anything good for spells. I get Cure Wounds, Sanctuary, Shield of Faith, Enhance Ability, and Levitate, so...
I mean, to be honest, those are some pretty good spells that people can activate as a bonus action.
True, I didn't think about it that way.
Yeah.
How fucked up would that be to get into a fight with Strahd, hit him with something that causes Levitate on him, and he's basically stuck there floating?
Hey, DM, a quick
Yeah.
question. Could Tony, infuse, I don't know, like my boots or something like that with enhance ability so that I could try to get that advantage on like initiative rolls?
I see no reason why not. It's going to take him some time, and we'll have to make a number of checks. It won't be immediate, but it's definitely a process we can go down.
So, Jay, just a thought. If we wanted to do something like the enhance ability on the boots and we just wanted to make it a reoccurring thing, that could have that, ungodly high monetary cost to it to balance out.
That's what I'm talking about, is essentially you're spending time to infuse, permanently infuse and enchant an item, and there will be a magical cost, kind of like how a wizard trying to turn a spell scroll into their spell book.
Mm-hmm.
But it would then turn his boots into boots of cat's grace.
Yeah, so that might actually be good reason for me to multi-class now.
Mm-hmm.
Damn it. I've never done that. I'll have to figure that out now.
It's not too hard.
With us having our first week back, because we will definitely go next week, and having this be a tactics-heavy session, I just wanted to make sure that we were in the best place to handle a tactics-heavy session.
Yeah. And just so you are clued in, Jay, I'll be on swing shifts next week, so I'll be working 3 to 11.
Okay.
So sometime I have to leave here by no later than about 1:30 to make it to work. So
Okay.
we have to do a earlier morning session just so everybody knows if I am to be involved.
I think this upcoming weekend is probably going to need to be an off week for me at least, because I'm going to be back in DeKalb, and I'll be on the road all day Sunday.
Oh yeah, it's the Thanksgiving week. So we just want to call it a bye week then?
That's my plan.
Works for me.
Sure.
Yeah.
And then that following week I'll be on night, so I can do just about whenever.
Great stuff. So, Mike, I'm going to hand you maps that I know that we've talked about, so we can work on those as well as Castle Ravenloft.
Sounds good.
All right. Thanks so much for making this time available. Guys, we got through Hoard of the Dragon Queen with nobody permadying.
I almost perma-died like 3 times. What are you
I
talking
came
about?
close once or twice, yeah.
First off, how amazing is that we were able to sit there with beefed up enemies and still keep each other alive?
Mhm.
Holy shit.
Thank you, Hagrid.
Yeah, the end of the session where we were able to crash a castle into a fucking mountain.
Honestly, Corey, I do like your ending for that. It's a good cliffhanger to
It was, yeah.
that module on, is you crashed into the mountain.
I'm glad you guys liked it.
That was great.
Well, especially with the way we're running this, I honestly think that's something that they probably could have and should consider in the future, is doing, the weird portal thing we did, because that way if you need to switch things up, it's actually a pretty cool idea.
Yeah, and then if any of you guys with your special ability have one that you think would fit your character better, by all means, I'm willing to listen. This is based off of what I thought would be something your character would find useful. If there's one that you sit there and thinks that would be better for you, by all means, text me, email me, Skype me what your ideas are, and we can hammer something out.
Honestly,
Yep.
I think personally, just for me, it was such a big surprise that we got something like that, and you did an amazing job of incorporating it from previous character to this character. So I'm not going to
That was my entire
Yeah.
concept of it. And then if there's something where you said there's like, yeah, this was little bit more vital for my past creature's survival. I'd like to carry that forward. We'll definitely talk about it.
Yeah. I think that's not necessarily something that was vital for survival in the last one, but something that resonated with that previous character.
Yeah.
And you did, for me, a great job of capturing it.
Yeah.
Me as well.
I agree.
Very cool. Yeah, and then we will be balancing those in the future. If it looks like one person's buff isn't quite up to the level of everybody else's, we'll bring them up. If one person's buff is way stronger than everybody else's, we'll talk about how to make that a little bit more reasonable. So just, it's a work in progress, is what I'm trying to say.
As with all things, be flexible.
Yeah. So,
Aaron, do you have Jay's contact information at all? Now that he's DM, and you'll probably need to be asked. You may need to ask him questions from time to time.
I think just through Skype, maybe in the group text, but I don't know it directly. Just Carl, if you send me his number directly,
Yeah,
I'll
I
send him
got
a text.
for everyone, I'll just throw
Whatever.
it into the... My number is now up. Mike, we're not filming anymore, right?
We are.
I can also
We're
contact
stopping.
him on Twitter.